He stands 6'3". He's fighting for you. AM 560 KBLU, Russ Clark with you. Of course, Dean, it's Wednesday. Dean's here with us.
Glad to be here, too.
You know, and then we had a secret guest pop in, unexpected. Gary Barv, he's here today. You know, we got him. You were scheduled for a call-in.
I know. We were supposed to interview at 8:05 a.m., but I said I got to meet my friend Russ Clark while I'm in the great state of Arizona, my friend. I actually woke up at like 1 a.m. today. I drove from Glendale, Arizona to here, which is in Yuma County in the great state of Arizona. And obviously that's a 3-hour drive and worth every minute of it, my friend. It's a great honor for me to be on the awesome News Talk 560 KBLU, the Russ Clark Show with my friend Russ Clark and my friend
Didn't I tell
Dean
him 5
Weingarten.
words or less? Did I say 5 words or less?
Hey, I haven't even
Gary
started.
Barv, did I say that?
I haven't even started the introduction, my friend.
No, you're done. You're done.
Well, I'll just say this quick introduction, my friend. My name is Gary Barv, and obviously I'm officially running for President of the United States of America in the 2028 election.
Right.
As a Republican supporter of the greatest and the 47th President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump.
Again,
and as a believer in Jesus Christ.
I'm going to turn your mic off right now. But 5 words or less. We'll go to that.
Okay, all right. But I am a believer in Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior. I love President Trump, and I love the United States of America.
He's not going to quit, Dean.
If you want to stay here, you're going to have to be
concise. Yeah, let's do that. If we can, and because you're past military, you know, I want to, you know, the thing against Mark Kelly.
Oh, God.
You know, how serious is it? Is it not? And there's so much spin going on right now, particularly from Mark himself. He's escalating his outrage and anger that somebody's dare take away his First Amendment rights or try to.
It's going to work out well for him. He's got 2 hats he's wearing. He's a sitting U.S. senator, and so he is.
You think that makes him immune?
That makes him immune for stuff said while he's
on the floor,
session or back, going to and from Congress,
or on the floor, or traveling.
Right, and he also is retired military, and he has certain obligations under that. And I think he's treading a line, maybe because he's getting more attention with it, but it's kind of close. You know, if he does too much too egregiously, I think he could be brought up on charges before the military. It's complicated because he's a senator.
I've had some conservatives that are kind of angry at Hegseth and all because they didn't do things fast enough. I mean, I'm hearing this a lot.
Oh yeah,
people say
I hear it all the time. And amazing speed has happened.
Oh, it has.
We're not even a year into Trump's second term.
But again, there's many people disillusioned. It's not fast enough. We need to fire Bondi, fire Patel, fire everybody, and start over.
But it's like little children. I want it now. It's like that girl on
I understand it. I want it.
Yeah, everybody wants it now, but in reality, it takes time.
But I think things are happening much faster than we've ever seen before.
Yeah, maybe short of the Civil War.
Yeah, well, that's a good point.
Hey, Dean, I just want to quickly say this. I want to thank you for your service to our country. I know he described himself as a retired military scientist, and obviously a former, I believe, law enforcement officer as well. Thank you for your service to our country.
That's nice of you, Gary.
See, I'm a nice guy unless someone's running against me, right? In which case, I'm politically vicious, right?
I have no idea.
Oh, we're going to find out in the next 2 years, my friend.
But let me on the Mark Kelly, he can be brought back and all that. Now, the reason he's upset right now is Monday Hegseth did a preliminary investigation and realized it was enough to be turned over to the judicial arm of the military for them to do it. So that's why he kind of sparked a little bit more.
Yeah, it's a low bar.
I'm outraged that they're going to look at it. And they're going to investigate.
Look at it. That's not much. It's somebody saying they're going to investigate.
And his only crime, according to Mark, it's a crime.
Unbiased source.
According to Mark, that he said openly what's written in regulation. And that is not incorrect. It is written in regulation.
Yes.
It is written in regulation that you do not have to follow illegal orders.
Correct.
But when you start framing it around, don't trust President Trump. and illegal orders, you can ignore them. It goes kind of beyond just reading a journal.
Well, it's implying that illegal orders are being given.
Well, it was very much implied. Very. The rationale for them reminding them is because of Donald Trump doing so much illegal, which they don't state.
Correct.
They just allude to.
Like I said, it's kind of a fine line.
It's kind of a setup for Trump to put doubt and to put.
They're trying to put it in a
weaken him.
You lose, I win situation, no matter what.
Do you mind if I make a few comments as well, my friend?
I think I have no choice, but go ahead.
So I think obviously you're talking about the rhetoric that some of the Democrat elected officials, corrupt Democrat elected officials, did against President Trump, basically they were trying to pit the United States of America military against President Trump through the video.
The seditious sect, yeah.
Yeah. So my point is President Trump is the greatest president ever. And the reality is this, my friend. President Trump, when he won the election on November 5th, 2024, completely politically decimated the Democrat Party, the corrupt Democrat elected officials I'm talking about, by winning against dumb as a rock Kamala in all 7 battleground states, one after the other. And the reality is this, my friend. The Democrat Party right now does not have the White House. The Democrat Party does not have the House of Representatives. The Democrat Party does not have the U.S. Senate. The Democrat Party does not have the America First agenda. The Democrat Party does not have the American people, because the American people are the America First American people. I'll get to my point, my friend. Let me continue. And the Democrat Party does not have President Donald J. Trump. The Democrat Party does not have me, Gary Barr. And the reality is this, my friend Russ Clark. The Democrat Party is being completely politically decimated by the patriotic America First President Donald J. Trump Republican Party. And what I'm getting at through this is that the Democrat elected officials, including the Mark Kelly person you're talking about, they are grasping at straws. They don't know what to do right now because their party is, let me say this. Look, you agree the Republican Party, the Trump Republican Party is America First, right, Dean? You agree as well? You agree as well, right, Russ? We're the America First Republican Party.
That is part of their statement.
So my point is this. We are the America First Republican Party. What does that make the Democrat Party? Are they America Second? Are they America Third? I believe they are the America Last Democrat Party. And so the reality is the American people are now the America First American people. I understand the pulse of the Trump Republican Party better than just about anyone else in the country, my friend. You know this. I've interviewed with like 40 media networks across the country. I've visited so many states, met with so many patriotic American people. And the reality is the Democrat Party don't know where to go with this. And so they are grasping at straws. And it's a pathetic thing that these 6 people you're talking about, the Democrat elected officials, they were basically trying to pit the United States of America military, brave and courageous United States of America military, against President Donald J. Trump. And that's not going to happen.
I think it might, the way they're to their base. We'll see, and that's the intent.
You mean Mark Kelly's base, right?
No,
Mark Kelly does not have a big base, my friend. The Democrat Party elected officials do not have a big base. If you look at the registrations, I was just reading the news prior to getting on the show at like 4 a.m. today or 5 a.m. today, and the voter registration for the Republican Party, the Trump Republican Party, is at a much higher pace than the Democrat elected officials'
Gary.
voter registration.
Oh, where? In state? Which state?
I'm talking about generically in the United States of America.
Do you have the numbers? I'd have to look that
No,
up.
I don't have the numbers with me right now, but I'm saying that the voter registration numbers for the Republican Party are in a very strong state compared to the Democrat Party voter registration. And the reality is the constituents, the American constituents, are America First now. Because you look at the contrast, my friend, right? You look at the contrast between what happened in the previous 4 years. I'm talking about prior to January 20th, 2025, which was obviously Inauguration Day. If you look at those 4 years, what was it, Russ? 20 million illegal immigrants crossed across the southern border into our great United States of America, illegally, bringing in tremendous crime, drugs such as fentanyl that killed, this, Russ, hundreds of thousands of great American people died because of these drugs that were brought in by, and I want to say something about Maduro as well, right? Venezuelan dictator.
No, don't tie too much together.
Okay. So I do the weave a little bit, right? Like President Trump. But look, my friend, the point is this, and this has been a little bit of a soundbite. I think I said it on your previous show as well. Look, there are these gangs that came into our country. I'm just drawing this contrast between the previous 4 Biden Kamala administration years and the incredible start that President Donald J. Trump has had in the last, since January 20th, 2025. So let me quickly say this. You're going to appreciate this, my friend Dean. So, as a great American veteran, so let me say this. Look, there are these gangs, Tren de Aragua, right, that came into our country. And the first time I heard about this gang, Tren de Aragua, I said to myself, what a stupid name for a gang, right? These are vicious people. It's a stupid gang. It's a stupid gang name, but they're vicious. A Venezuelan gang. It's a vicious gang that literally took over a complete building in Colorado recently. There's another gang that's come into our country, MS-13. These are, this, Russ. These are bad, evil, awful, pathetic, vicious people that literally cut people up just for fun. And you know what? I had a great honor of visiting the United States of America southern border very recently in the Rio Rico area of Arizona, and with some great American law enforcement officers. Heard about the Sinaloa cartel, right? Other gang name, Sinaloa cartel. And some people said to me, Gary, it's not the Sinaloa cartel, it's the Sinaloa cartel. I said, who the hell cares? These are bad people. And so, Russ Clark, let me say this. My direct message right now to gang members, MS-13, Tren de Aragua, Sinaloa cartel, is get the hell out of our great United States of America.
I'm going to take a break. We'll be right back.
Unseasonably warm weather continues with partly cloudy skies and 81 today. It could be a record high. 5 to 10 mile per hour winds out of the northeast. Clear at 57 tonight. Sunny and 81 on Thursday. Sunny and 81 on Friday.
All right, do-it-yourselfer. You've got the idea, and you got your building supplies at Southwest Lumber.
That's right.
Now, all you need is a bunch of expensive tools to get the job done.
Oh, that's right.
And just the place to rent them. Southwest Lumber, your home for everything home improvement. Southwest Lumber has half-day to multiple-day rentals available on just about anything you need to finish the job. Rent equipment and tools on Saturday and Sunday. It's free. Stop in today at 1917 South Avenue B in Yuma. Southwest Lumber, ready for everything.
You ever wonder why Verizon charges twice as much as Pure Talk for the same basic service? Think it might have something to do with the fact that Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotion. That's billion with a B. Yeah, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. That's why they can offer unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Save an additional 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say the words Mike Rowe. That's pound 250, Mike Rowe.
Well, it's all fun and games until you're stuck with bad internet. Not so much fun. Say goodbye to bad internet. Say hello to local support from a company that believes in better. Say goodbye to the spinning wheel of doom and the regular equipment rebooting. And say hello to a hassle-free experience. Say goodbye to the internet struggles of yesterday and say hello to a provider that picks our community and provides a product and service that's locally rooted right here in our hometown. Find out more at allofiber.com. That's allofiber.com.
There's a man in D.C. He stands 6'3". He's fighting for you. He's fighting for me. He'll bring that swan song, just like today.
Yeah, 60 you Clark, Gary Farms here, and Dean.
Glad to be here.
Wednesday, it's hump day.
Wednesday.
And I don't know where this Kelly thing's going to go. And Dean, I don't have any big wishes that it goes to him convicted of anything. But I think it should go to a trial. They should talk to him.
Well, they're going to investigate. We will see what happens.
I think it's serious to go out and try to weaken the presidency.
It is.
I mean, I realize that there's a competitiveness between Democrats and Republicans and all that, but at some point, there needs to be some line drawn about weakening the presidency and going after the president, especially when you're former military. And he wore his uniform during the video.
Right. So he's using his status as a retired military officer to attack President Trump. That's not allowed under the UCMJ, but because it's a sitting senator, that complicates the legal side.
Which has never been done before. Sitting senator has never been had this kind of issue before, from what I've read.
Well, never is a long time. I don't know. I'd have to look at before the Civil War. I don't think so. I don't think we had members of the military attacking the sitting president.
But of course, Trump labeled, that kind of thing is a seditious behavior, and it should be the sort of thing is punishable by death, which could be
A little hyperbole.
a little is. But
Um, I
it's
think the death penalty for that type of speaking, when it's kind of borderline like that, is unlikely.
probably
Well, I think President Trump leads with peace through strength, right? I'm a big believer, my friend, in peace through strength, and I've learned a lot about it from President Trump. And obviously, you as a great American veteran understand peace through strength really well. You, I'm sure, understand peace through strength really well. But I really studied this topic, right? Peace through strength, and I'm talking about the Truth Social post that President Trump made with regards to Mark Kelly. So, look, peace through strength, in my opinion. I hope you don't mind sharing this with your great viewers and listeners, my friend. So, peace through strength, in my opinion, is essentially a very complex attribute that a president of the greatest and the most powerful country in the world, the United States of America, should have. And President Trump has it. I believe I have it as well. And in my opinion, it's a very complex qualities set, right? It consists of the personality of the president, the ability of the president to make decisions, the manner in which he makes decisions, the love for our country so that decisions are made keeping American people first and America first, the gut instinct, a sense of timing. I think that is very important as well. All this put together makes great concoction of what I call peace through strength. And I think President Trump has that in a tremendous way. Look, deterrents are a strong way of keeping crime out of our country, for example, and deterrent can be achieved through peace through strength. So that's I'm sort of defending President Trump's Truth Social post, my friend.
Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Russ,
Yes,
your guest, my gosh.
I know.
Hey,
I
which one
like
are you talking about, Dean or Gary Barf, my friend?
Gary, listen to me.
What's your first name, my friend?
Ted,
Ted, how are you? You're not Ted Cruz, are you? I've politically decimated him very strongly.
hey, I vote 3 or 4 times for every candidate, man.
Yeah, I know. And that's what makes you special.
Ted, my friend, what's your question? Great honor for me to be talking with you on air, my friend.
When you say peace through strength, okay?
Yeah.
Go a little bit further. How about peace through scriptures? How about that?
Let me ask you this. Are you a Christian? Are you a believer in Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior?
Yeah, I'm a Christian. Yes, I am, sir.
All right. Awesome. So
I
let
was
me
baptized a Christian
Yeah.
on a military base in Virginia.
thank
How
you for
about
your
that?
thank you for your service to our country.
No. Don't go that far.
What's that?
I said, don't go that far. Just everything's cool. But the point here that should be made is we're not the judge. We're not supposed to be the judge. We are supposed to live in peace, Gary. And to throw mud, sticks, stones, that's easy. But to learn through speech and thought and the word is the way to go.
Sure.
So
Correct.
thank you for
Correct.
sharing your opinion.
Correct.
Well, let me say this.
It's not an opinion, it's the truth.
Well, I mean, it's still your opinion, right? I mean, truth is Jesus Christ is Lord and Savior is to me the truth, right? So
Right.
it's your
right.
opinion, and I respect your opinion. But let me say this. Look, when you say, I think you're sort of implying that, politically attacking the opposition is probably not something you espouse or something that you want to do. And that's okay. You don't have to do that. But as President of the United States of America, the leader of the free world and the greatest and the most powerful country in the world, the United States of America, President Donald J. Trump, does what it takes to keep America first. And he did that in a tremendous way. I'm talking about the Truth Social post that my friend Russ Clark brought up. And you have to attack politically.
Gary,
Sorry, go on.
slow down.
Go
Where's
on.
this going to go after he's out of power? Where's this going to go?
Uh,
me.
elaborate on that. What do you mean by that? And who's out of power? What do you mean? Just elaborate on that.
When Trump is out of power, where is this going to go? Do you have a plan? Democrats don't have a plan, but do we have a plan?
Well-
Where is this going to go when Trump's out of office?
Well, I think it's a very generic question. Thank you for asking the question. When you say, where is this going to go? That's a very generic, high level question, a very generic question. First thing I'll say is never say President Trump is not in power. President Trump, just as an individual, he does not need the power of the seat to be a powerful person, right? He is internally a very powerful man because of the strength of his character, the fight for our country, the patriotism that he has displayed for our country, and the fact that he has literally taken a bullet for our country. And so he's always a very powerful person. It's Trump forever, right? And so in that respect, but I think you meant from the perspective of power of the seat, right?
Gary, let me stop you there on that bullet to the ear.
Go on, Ted.
You ever been to Arlington Cemetery? You ever been to the cemeteries in Europe? Have you ever?
No, I have not at this time.
All right, my family's taken a bullet, and I'm going to tell you right now that once he's gone, okay, all this sideshow carnivalistic crap that goes on up in Capitol Hill, it better end, and it better get straightened out, or you're going to have a problem. We'll have a problem.
Well, do you mind if I respond to this?
Where does this go, Gary?
So let me say this.
After he's out of office.
Okay, so let me say this, my friend. First thing I'll say is I understand from your sort of the emotion behind what you're saying, my friend Ted, that you are a little bit disappointed with the political process or the political games that happen. And I think that's an understatement, right? I think you will agree with that, right? You're laughing at that. So that means I think you're agreeing with what I'm saying when it comes to my sort of, analysis of, based upon the emotion that came out of the statement that you made. And I think a lot of people across the country want, a country that is consisting of 330 million people that are always keeping America first. I believe you're one of those people. And so, look, when you say, where is this country going after President Trump is not in office? I will say this: America is and always will be the greatest country in the world. And I said this a long time back, my friend Ted. I said this after.
Hyperboles aren't cutting it. Where is this going to go?
Well, I did not mention hyperbole at all. Ted, my friend.
Where is this going to go? In your words, where would you take it? Where would you take it, Gary?
I will, if I become the next and the 40th president of the United States of America, I will say this: America, irrespective of whether I become the next president, I believe I've got a great shot at becoming the next president of the United States of America. I will say this: America is and always will be the greatest country in the world. And I will take you, I'm assuming you're American, obviously, you're American, and I will take every American to a place where every American, hopefully at some point, will say, America is and always will be the greatest country in the world, because that is the truth.
Ted, I appreciate the call, man.
Yeah, Russ, I'm sorry.
Thanks, sir. Bye-bye. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
I spent years living in fear of calcium oxalate crystal stones, always afraid of when the next one would hit. Now I just take Kidney Cop.
Battling calcium oxalate stones? It's time to try Kidney Cop, a doctor-recommended kidney supplement that has been shown in laboratory tests to reduce the growth rate of calcium oxalate crystals by 99%. Get Kidney Cop today at Amazon.com, Walmart.com, or KidneyCop.com.
To be a part of Russ's show, call 928-344-5258. That's 928-344-5258.
This is the time of the year most of us are checking off our holiday gift list. Identity thieves have lists too, and your personal information might be on that list. Protect your identity with LifeLock. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every single second and alerts you to the threats you could miss yourself. If your identity is stolen, your own U.S.-based restoration specialist is going to work to fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Make this season about joy, not identity theft, with LifeLock. Save up to 40% off your first year at LifeLock.com with the promo code BECK. Terms apply.
You ever wonder why Verizon charges twice as much as Pure Talk for the same basic service? Think it might have something to do with the fact that Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotion. That's billion with a B. Yeah, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. That's why they can offer unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Save an additional 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say the words Mike Rowe. That's pound 250, Mike Rowe.
There's a man in D.C.
He's AM 560 KBLU. Russ Clark with you. Dean's here this morning.
Glad to be here.
Glad to see you, man. The
We were talking about Mark Kelly.
I was, and I think we got done pretty much through that. But Mark Kelly, I don't know where he stands, but the more the pressure is put on, the more defiant and outraged and all that he gets.
Yeah, I recall some people talking about the Clinton administration, and they said the philosophy on the left was never give up the con.
Yeah.
Never admit you're wrong. Never, ever, ever. And that's what seems to be the case with Mark Kelly here.
In a world where we judge things on micro expressions and all that, like people are outraged. Well, that was a micro expression. You looked at me funny. Like Mark Kelly took a real swipe at the president of the United States and talked about not following his orders, and that is so seditious. It is, and he did that as with his military uniform and stuff.
Right.
And he didn't allude to exactly when or where, whatever, but he wanted to put doubt out there. And according to a lot of the articles I've read and a lot of the people I saw discuss it, it was actually very much CIA operative type operation.
Well, it's coordinated with a bunch of other actions that are
billboards and a lot of other stuff
Right.
to weaken the presidency, not
That's
just
the idea.
Donald Trump. Like to tell the military to don't, that you need to start looking to find an order you can disagree with and say no.
That seems to be the way it was aimed at. Yeah.
Yeah. And he gets outraged that we would question that.
Yeah. Well, that's the idea, because you see, on the left, they have divided the world into oppressed and oppressors. And Mark
Yeah.
Kelly puts him in himself, apparently, into the oppressed category, and Donald J. Trump, the president, into the oppressor category. So, of course, Mark Kelly, in his mind, is always right, and Donald J. Trump must always be wrong.
Right.
It's not a good way to look at the world. It's not a realistic way to look at the world.
But their immediate reactions and Gallego threatening anybody that would dare persecute him for saying what he said in the video and all that. It's so over the top, and I think that's intentional to be over the top. It's like, don't dare cross us.
Right.
We'll
exactly.
come after you. We'll cancel you.
Claiming we are outraged because everybody else is wrong except us. We're perfect.
And I read that Kelly and Gallego both put their names in as president. I haven't verified that, but it doesn't surprise me. And you know who the number 2 poll is for president on the Democrat side from the Democrats?
No.
Anybody but.
Oh, no. Yes.
Number 1 would be Harris.
Really?
Number 2 is none of the above.
Wow. Gavin Newsom doesn't even hit on the first 2?
No, he's down a little bit. I think he's 3. He might be 3.
Well, how about Governor Walz? He's got a lot of name recognition.
Very, very much. I mean, everyone was single digits after Newsom.
Right.
Anybody, none of the above. And then I think Newsom, and then it's all single digits. I mean, they just don't have much of a.
Well, what we see is that the very far left has dominated the primary process. So politicians are afraid of leftist politicians, Democratic Party politicians are afraid of offending anybody on the very far left because they may get primaried. And so I think that's why the rhetoric in the Democratic Party has migrated to the extreme left. And I think Kelly is trying to play into that, but I'm not sure it's working well for him.
I think from everything I've heard, he's in potential real danger of having some kind of action, and that action could be a demotion after he's in his retirement days.
As a military under the UCMJ. Yeah, that's possible. I don't know if it'll happen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a process. Is he in danger of possible primary challenge? When's his election coming up? I'm trying to remember. Whether it's in 28
I don't know. It's not this year. I mean, it has to be 30. It have to be next in 28. Somebody in 28. And one of the two are in 28, and then one in 30.
Right.
Between Gallego and Kelly. But what an embarrassment. And I think he just looks terrible.
I think so. I never thought
he looks
was that
defensive.
Strong of a candidate. I was surprised when he got elected.
I think he was more popular when he was more quiet.
Yes. And that's probably the same with Governor Walz.
Yeah.
I don't know. Newsom, he's pretty good at obfuscating and claiming non-real things. So.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem to be gaining in his presidential aspirations.
Apparently, the Democrats have held a national meeting, amongst the leaders, and they decided that Harris would be the candidate to hang on to and promote for the presidency in 28. And
That doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense to me either. But I look at that as a
I mean,
joke.
she's lost, and I don't think she has gotten any better. What little I've seen of her since the election
No,
has
but who
not
else do they
impressed
have?
me.
They decided Newsom was just too toxic. I mean, California's falling apart.
California has a lot of serious problems.
Yeah, at
and
least.
most of them can be traced back to policies
See,
Newsom promoted.
But right now, Harris isn't in a position to destroy his county or a city or a state.
Right. She's out of office, and that's in her favor, I think.
Yeah.
But I kind of would like to see her run again. I think she would be
Careful what you ask for always, but
Yeah,
that's what they said about Reagan
but,
and Trump.
In terms of a candidate, I'm trying to think of someone that I'd more like to see on the Democratic side.
Well, I asked about Shapiro. Well, what do they consider Shapiro? And they said no, because he's Jewish.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
but he's Jewish. Well,
I didn't even think about that.
The radical left in the Democratic Party seem to be fairly
Muslim.
anti-Semitic.
Yeah, they're very much so. I mean, they don't have a problem with Mandami being Muslim, but don't be Jewish.
Right. That's
weird.
That's not a look that is popular in the United States as a whole. There's some fringe people, there always have been, that are extremely anti-Semitic and blame the woes of the world on the Jews, but it seems to have picked up in the last year or so. Surprisingly, I find it surprising, but it's not been completely denigrated by the old media.
Let me see. Because I had Gary on talking about registration, my fact checker went to work.
Okay.
Of registered voters, 45% have declared a party affiliation. That's weird. I mean, that's only half.
Less than half.
Wow. As of August 25th, 27.4 million voters are registered Republican and 44.1 million are registered Democrats nationwide.
What was the first number for Republicans?
37.4.
So as of this moment, there are about
significantly
7 million more democratically registered voters than Republicans.
Now, he said Democrats lead total registration, though independents lean more conservative.
Yeah.
So that when we look at the country as being more 50-50 almost. But as far as registration goes, it's more heavily Democrat.
But I think that he was correct in that I've seen numbers from a number of states that the numbers are improving for Republicans.
Yes, in Arizona being one.
Right.
Yeah. That's true. But that's why I asked him. You talking because I knew it wasn't true federally.
Well, I just haven't seen the numbers nationally.
I haven't seen them in a while, and this was worse than I thought. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Well, good morning, sir.
Well, good morning.
You see my text?
No.
Okay, no biggie. Is Gary still there?
No.
Okay, I missed his exit.
It's because I read. It's because I read your text.
Ted took up all my time. He beat me to the dialing punch. But anyways, real quick on the registration issue you just brought up.
Yeah.
I think there are a lot of people like me that have gotten irritated at the Republican Party, and especially it was back when we had McCain and Jeff Flake as our senators. I re-registered as an independent, and I know that kills me when it comes to a primary. I can't come vote.
Yes, you can.
As an independent, I thought I had to be a member of the
No.
registered.
All you have to do is tell them. You go in and say, "Hey, I'm here to vote in the primary," and they say, "Which ticket do you want? Do you want the Republican or the Democrat?" And you can pick it right there.
Here in Arizona.
Oh,
in Arizona. Yeah.
Cool. Good to know. So, on to Gary.
Yeah.
You, and it seems to a certain extent, Ted, seem to disagree with him quite a bit. Am I reading the tea leaves correctly? The reading the room?
No.
I don't think there was so much disagreement as the manner in which he presented what he presented.
Okay. Yeah, it was just a bunch of bumper sticker rhetoric spewing out all that was disconnected, really. That Trump's a great president and all the. But
no, not a great president. The greatest president ever.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, well, a case can be made.
A little hyperbole and stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
But
So-
doesn't sound serious is all. And he's going to dominate the speaking.
Sure, he does like to talk.
Yeah.
And was this the first time you'd had him on?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I didn't think I thought I'd heard him before, but I enjoy listening to him when he is on, and it sounds like he's been around the country quite a bit. I'm a little put off by his accent. Was he born in the U.S.? Can he qualify to run as president?
Yeah, I tried to look at his. I think he was, but I've tried to look at his background a little bit. I know that's not his real name.
Right.
He has changed his name.
Well, then his changed name is his real name. If you legally change your name,
Okay.
that is your real name.
It's his real name,
but it wasn't his original.
I don't know if he legally did it or not, but he definitely
You
goes
gotta
by Gary.
There you go.
Yeah.
Fact checking in real time.
Yeah, I did look at him a little bit. I found out very little. And I've interviewed him in the past, and when I ask him what he does for a living, he doesn't answer. He doesn't tell me. So, but I was going to put him on for 15 minutes today at 8:00, and he showed up at my door at 6. And I just didn't want that for 3 hours.
Oh yeah. So you asked him to exit?
Oh yeah, very politely.
Okay. Because I just heard the end of Ted's call, and then you went to a break.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
came back, and he was gone. Dang it.
Yeah.
I had some questions for him myself, but
Well,
maybe next time I'll
you-
get him. I'm sure he'll be back.
You'll get the same answers. It's just a long string of spewing of Trump accomplishments.
Yeah, but a lot of it sounds nice, doesn't it?
Oh yeah. In short, it's bumper sticker stuff though, and you can't take it for 3 hours.
No, 3 hours, no. Definitely not 3 hours.
Yeah.
I like thinking of President Trump as the greatest president ever.
Yeah.
Well, we still have 3 years to go. I think he's done remarkable stuff. I mean, he has done more than I think any other president I've seen in my lifetime, with the possible exception of Ronald Reagan, who had 2 terms.
That's where I disagree. I think he has accomplished more for the conservative cause than even Ronald Reagan. And I always loved Ronald Reagan. He's the first president I ever voted for. But Trump is taking names and kicking butt.
Well, amazingly, as much as the press tries to destroy him at every chance they get, his base has not wavered at all since he's been president. I mean, there's people that are frustrated, but his the poll numbers are strong amongst his.
Some of those people that are frustrated, I see comments online. Well, why aren't all these people who oppose President Trump hanging from lampposts?
Well,
you just can't. That's silly. That's absurd. People shouldn't even be saying that stuff online. So yes, people are frustrated. Although Trump is acting faster than I think any other president I've ever known at accomplishing things. And you were right. He's accomplished amazing things in this first year of his second term. Not even a full first year yet.
I think he got quite a bit done in his first term as well.
He did. But he's even better on the second term, in my opinion.
Sure, of course. He knows more what he's up against now. He's
Correct.
better prepared. And so far, he's not getting impeached every time he turns around. So,
well, that will happen if we lose the midterms.
I understand.
Yeah.
And we can hope he doesn't. But
Well, the strategy right now is to go after the midterms by Democrats. Of course, that's what they do.
Right.
But to me, I see the Democrats doing more dirty tricks than anything.
Yes, I see a lot of that. And just the outright lies.
Yeah.
I mean, just the falsehoods. It's
Well, yeah,
amazing.
like Russiagate and other accusations. and
Right.
stuff.
And I see Democratic politicians talking about the economy, and they say things that just aren't true.
Right. Yeah.
And you know why they lie, don't you?
Because the truth doesn't help them.
No.
Yeah,
Well,
that's true.
In addition to that, because their base believes it.
They do.
The base only hears their side. They don't listen to, like me. I don't ever turn on CNN or MSNBC or NBC, ABC, CBS. I don't listen to any of that crap. They already know that it's going to be totally unbalanced. And unfortunately, I don't have TV anymore, so I don't get Fox News. But every now and then, election time or whatever, I'll watch One America or what a couple of the other conservative shows or networks. But the base Democrats are rabid and out for blood, and they don't care about violence. They don't care about anything. They just want what they want, and everyone else be damned.
I think so, and my fact checker tells me at times that's why they win, Russ.
Yeah,
Because they're willing to do whatever it takes.
Yeah, I think there's truth in that, but also they dominated the media for a very long time. I mean, total dominance, and they still have a lot of influence on the media you mentioned. And in that information bubble, people believe what they're told and often do not check it against other things. But that is a growing minority, a small minority, and the minority is shrinking in the country, I believe, because there's so much media available out there that they can check and see if it's true that President Trump is illegally ordering the military to do stuff. Well, when they check and find out he's not, then the base shrinks a little bit.
Yeah. Hey, appreciate the call, man. Go do coffee or something.
I'm just dropping off the Starbucks, buddy.
Yeah, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, he's bored. Mike.
Oh.
So he just does Uber in the morning because he's awake.
Oh, well, that's a good thing.
And you meet people.
I think that makes perfect sense
to
me.
I think that's really cool.
Another thing he mentioned is he doesn't have a TV anymore. Well, neither do I.
Yeah.
But for me, I got rid of the TV in 1994 because I read what a very smart woman, she said, it's too early to shoot the nasties on the other side. So what can we do until the revolution? And she said, get rid of your TV. And she was absolutely right because the TV was putting a lot of bad information in my head.
Probably. I like the TV, though.
Well, it's addictive.
Yes. Yeah, but there's so many things I really enjoy watching. Gutfeld is my favorite show. Although I generally don't watch it on TV. I watch it on my phone. But
I was going to say, but are you watching it? Is it a TV? Is it a part of a network? I mean, I'm trying to think.
It's Fox. It's Fox.
Fox, okay.
So there's commercials, I think. But
Fox is part of the revolution in media because it wasn't part of the big three that dominated news media for so long.
I'm not hooked up to regular television.
Right, exactly. And there's so much media, different media out there that people can watch and they can find out things that they can make well-based judgments on as to whether President Trump is really a monster or not. They watch a 3-hour interview of President Trump with somebody, 3 solid hours. They make up their own mind.
Rogan.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was a whole 3. It might have been.
It was 3 hours, as I recall.
What a fascinating interview.
It was.
I think it propelled him even more. I mean, it strengthened him and probably talked about
President
the
Trump,
notches.
too.
That's what I meant. I was talking about Trump.
I thought you were talking
Hey,
about
Rogan didn't he already signed $100 million.
It was beneficial to both of them.
He already signed $100 million.
And Rogan used to be a leftist.
Yeah.
But he said, I believe, the Democratic Party left him. And
he's lamented on that a little bit in that the left comes out and says, well, we need to find our own Joe Rogan. And he's like, you had me.
Exactly. And there's a lot of other people, too, that have said the same thing.
And you walked away, man. I got a listener that generally sends me a lot of thought-provoking stuff.
Good.
And he says, the future will determine Trump's place in history. Think of Truman. When he left, he was rated very poorly. He's now considered one of our greatest. And I said, are you saying there's hope for Biden? He said, I hope not, but who knows?
Yeah.
He wasn't really relating it to Biden, but I knew that.
Yeah. The history of the future is yet to be written.
Correct. That is correct. We don't know yet. At least I don't think we
It's
know.
much harder to understand things when you're in the middle of them than from the perspective of hindsight many years later.
Yes.
only God really knows what's going on right now.
Yeah, and he doesn't really tell us enough. I mean, just
Well, we just aren't God. We can't
you know,
comprehend it.
come
It's
on, man.
impossible.
Well, that's probably true. That's probably true. The Republican meeting was last night, which actually went very well. Enjoyed it, and it was a potluck. I hope we don't do potluck every week. It's time consuming and draining
For
me.
Oh yeah, okay.
I mean,
So-
I do a lot of setup. I make sure.
yeah,
I get
yeah.
the
So you're
tables
doing a
and all.
tremendous amount of work. If
Yeah.
I'd show up, I'd
And-
probably bring a box of crackers and call it good, and that'd
Well,
be
you know, I try not to do too much work. You know.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
You are very productive. Don't underrate yourself on the air.
but it is a lot, and it stretches it to 2 hours. You know, if you're there for the whole thing. But it's
Sure.
social. It's not.
Oh yeah.
You're not sitting listening to some professor speaking or something.
But you have the right professor. It can be.
It can be, but last night we had the right professors. We had some guest speakers. Michelle Pena was the first one, and I've really grown to appreciate her. I didn't know a lot about her when she was elected. I mean, I supported her and I liked her.
Right.
But her work ethic, her desire to get it done, her basic core value is not going to be swayed or pushed. She knows who she is and she knows what she wants, and that's in alignment with everything I like.
Well, and that's
You know,
important that it's in alignment because I
Yeah.
think that maybe up until the presidential election where Joe Biden was elected, before that, he knew who he was and he knew what he wanted, and he got lots of dollars.
And I think that's
part of it.
That's who we should vote for. People that have a core value.
What I'm making the point, Russ, is people can know they want bad things,
Yeah.
and they can realize they're not good, and we don't vote for those people just because they know what they want.
But they hide that when they're running.
You're correct. Yeah, that's a big point. If people lie to you, it's a good reason to not vote for them.
Right. And we need to vote for somebody that's not always going to agree with us every time. Look, you follow these guys around and they change their dialect, they change the way they speak, they change their values from mission to mission because they're just after votes.
It's one of the reasons that President Trump has done so well. He doesn't change.
No, he's consistent.
He has been consistent
And if people say you're
for his whole life.
you know, you shouldn't call people names. He doesn't change.
Yes.
He just keeps going. And I like that. And Michelle Pena is definitely a woman of solid value that has not swayed. Even when a lot of times you get up to the bigger houses in Phoenix and all that, and you got the people leaning on you. We need to vote for this. We need to vote for that. She does not leave her core value. And
that's good.
And God
That's
bless
what
her.
you want.
Last night she spoke on some of the schools that are still hiding DEI and all the stuff that's not.
Oh yeah,
right. And how the
that's a big issue.
legislature's working on it and all that and everything. But she's very focused and great. We talked a little bit about her running. Right now, she ran unopposed in an area that's mostly Democrat, and she won twice. First time they didn't expect her; they kind of ignored her, and she won. Second time they spent tons of money to destroy her and demonize her and put pictures out that were shaded to make her look evil. And I mean, all the dirty tricks the Democrats could come up with, and she still won.
Right. Now, I'm going to make an editorial comment about dirty tricks.
Okay.
Republicans would do dirty tricks if they could get away with them,
They
but
can't.
they can't.
No.
And they haven't been able to get away with them because the media has been dominated by leftists of the progressive persuasion.
And I think
and so Republicans just don't do as many dirty tricks because they know it doesn't work for them.
it doesn't work for them. But I think it's more than just the media. I think fellow Republicans don't appreciate the activity.
I think that's part of it. Yes.
I don't.
I think the core
If you-
philosophy of Republican and conservatives includes a set of morals.
Yeah.
Whereas the core philosophy of progressives really doesn't. It's
No.
whatever we have to do to win.
I remember when Harry Reid lied on the Senate floor.
Yeah, and then he
About-
bragged about it later.
Well, he did.
Well, we won.
And it was about who was it? The guy from Utah, running for president at the time.
Yeah, I'm
The Mormon guy.
yeah. Mitt Romney?
Mitt Romney, he went on the Senate floor and said that he lied, that Mitt Romney didn't pay any taxes and all this kind of
Right.
stuff.
And that was false.
And it was a lie. And then afterwards, those things got released as it was a lie. And the reporters went to him and said, look, you lied about that. And he just chuckles and says, yeah, but we won, didn't we?
Exactly.
I mean, and that sums up to me the Democrats. I don't think the Republicans can get away with that.
Right.
Within the Republican Party itself.
Well, I think you're right. And I think it's because of the decades of not being able to get away with it.
Maybe.
And
But
I think that
my core value, I wouldn't support somebody that does that to get ahead. I wouldn't.
Well, the by any means is essentially straight Machiavellian political philosophy.
The ends justifies the means type stuff.
Right. And but Machiavelli is very careful. He says you can't do this stuff unless you can get away with it. He says if you're going to get caught, don't do it.
Yeah.
So the Democratic Party is in a problem because they're increasingly getting caught. There's so much media, alternative media, fractured media, partisan media out there that they can't cover up a story. They can't keep a story from coming out like they used to be able to. It used to be that the media could decide what was a scandal, what wasn't. That is gone. It's dead. It no longer exists.
Right. And it frustrated them too. I mean, it's not that they don't still do it.
They try.
But they don't have the same reach.
That's exactly correct.
Last night I was talking about Pena. This year, this time she runs, the Democrats have changed up their thing again. A Democrat has turned a Republican to run against her to weaken the Republican.
In the primary.
In the primary. Well, what it would do is put two people on the ticket.
Ah.
Instead of a single shot. A single shot, in other words, there's going to be two Democrats and two Republicans on the main election because there's two seats available. So each side puts up two. She was the single in the past. So the Republicans all voted for her and maybe somebody else, maybe one.
Sure.
But she got a majority or enough to win the seats every time. In fact, she did get the majority last time out of all three. This time, a Democrat has re-registered as Republican, though I've never seen him at a Republican function. And then you have Gary Snyder that also put his name in for whatever reason.
So you got three Republicans?
Three Republicans in the primaries. Two will come forward and down to the general. And that'll be something new. That there'll be two. And that might weaken her position slightly, but I don't think so. I don't think so. I think we know her well enough.
She's got more name recognition now.
She does, and she's the right person. The other two guests we had was David Abera, veteran Dave, and Jeff Stoner. And they came up together. And what a wonderful presentation of what they're doing for the grade school, the things they're doing as far as getting rid of the DEI, getting responsibility for the school to pay more attention to the parents, have the parents. And they told us, they told a story, which I'll summarize real briefly, but there were 17 different things you could fill out for a complaints, right. But you had to use the right one.
Oh, you could only have one of these 17.
Well, 17 meaning for which department, what's your complaint about? Right. You had to pick the specific one. And some people would figure out the wrong form and says, no, that's the wrong form. You have to fill another one. So they put it onto the parents to figure that maze out. Yeah. And they brought that up in such a way that it made it look so ridiculous. They say, shouldn't we just go to one and then the administration figure out what the complaint is?
Exactly.
Something so common, and they want to get in touch with the students. They want to get in touch with the parents. They want to do all that stuff, and it was just great to hear. And of course, the DEI and stuff came out that they're tracking that we're teaching and not molding.
Right now they're on the school board. Is that
yes for the elementary?
Yeah, okay,
elementary, and what a wonderful thing to listen to. So
makes me wish I'd gone, but I was kind of busy.
Well, stop being busy, man.
Yeah, well, you have to show priorities, and
but they point out that it matters. You've got to get right people on these boards if we're going to get the results out of our schools. Now, when both of them got elected, it was obvious the board was going to change from ultra liberal to conservative, and the superintendent quit. 2 weeks later, the assistant superintendent quit. 2 weeks after that, the next superintendent quit. So they had a clean sweep.
Wow.
And they were able to change the complexion.
Wow. Because that says that it was ideological for the superintendent and the assistant superintendent.
Correct. Correct.
They were ideologically committed.
So don't think because we live in Human, it's a small town, we don't have those problems to worry about. We do. We do, and it's hidden, and it matters who we put on those boards.
Well, I'll tell you, if you have an ideological superintendent and you don't have an ideological board, the superintendent runs.
If you let them,
and
they generally know how to get their way around a board.
Exactly,
but not when you got these guys on.
No, correct.
I'll be back. It's the top of the hour, 7:00 AM 560 KBLU.
I mean,
this is News Talk 560 KBLU, Yuma. In 12 hours, President Trump will be on primetime TV. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, addressing the nation. The White House press secretary says the president will highlight his accomplishments over the past year: a secure border, lower inflation than its peak under the Biden administration, and reduced gas prices. This is Rich Estimate at the White House. Will the president bring up Venezuela tonight? It's in a minute. A military operation blowing up drugs, smuggling boats, and the seizure of an oil tanker. He posted this on Truth Social. I am ordering a total and complete blockade of all sanctioned oil tankers going into and out of Venezuela. America will not allow criminals, terrorists, or other countries to rob, threaten, or harm our nation, and likewise will not allow a hostile regime to take our oil, land, or any other asset. Report tonight that the president will go to Air Force Base for the arrival of the caskets carrying 2 National Guard soldiers killed while on duty in Syria last week in an ambush terror attack. The president has added Syria and 4 other countries to a travel ban list, not allowing people from there to come here. Ex-special counsel Jack Smith, who got 2 Trump indictments and criminal cases dropped after the election, faces questions in private this morning at the House Judiciary Committee. Republican Jim Jordan, the chairman, just told Fox this was political. This was about going after the Republican Party, and most importantly, it was about going after our candidate. Yeah. Still no arrest in Providence in the manhunt for the University shooting that murdered 2 students Saturday, wounding 9 more. The public is anxious and fearful, understandably, because we still do not know the identity of this primary person of interest in this case. Now, we do know that he's got a stocking build, and now investigators are hoping with newly enhanced video, someone will recognize the way this person is moving. Brian Yanis of Australia, the surviving gunman in Sunday's terror attack, woke up from a coma that was charged with murder in this hospital room, accused of targeting Jews on Bondi Beach, killing 15 as they celebrate Easter Hanukkah. America's listening to Fox News.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month edition. He's from Michaela's mobile. Michaela got a business insurance quote from Progressive and chose from over 30 customizable coverage. Sure, it helps she's an employee, does literally everything. While others would rest on their laurels, Michaela was hard at work saving space. Don't take that, hypothetical other employee who doesn't exist. Be your own employer. See if you can save it as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or vehicles and coverage selection.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Well, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Your entry-level data plan start at just $20 a month, and for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-3. Visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and easily. See site for additional details.
Women is one of information does. I'm Julie Nicoletta. A specialized program that introduces teenage girls into the world of firefighting is now taking applications. Kevin Fernwood lets students build teamwork, confidence, and leadership skills required as a firefighter. The camp includes hands-on activities like rappelling, extinguishing a fire, and hands-on technical tasks. The camp is scheduled for next February. Plus, this week, locals are celebrating a significant Jewish holiday. This week, Hanukkah started on Sunday, December 14th. The holiday is also known as the Festival of Light. Each night, people gather together to light another candle on the menorah. There are 5 days left, which means 5 candles are left to light as the festival and celebration continues. Catch us on the TV Saturday News on every weekday at 5, 6, and 10 p.m. for your latest local news, weather, and sports.
My name is Rick Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. Never thought in a million years I have to use life insurance. The unexpected happens. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage, no medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ETHOS.com/term.
AllStates.com/term. Application may vary. Online help questions required.
Is the season for cozy nights, holiday movies, and full houses. So make sure your internet can keep up. Allo Fiber brings you lightning fast 100% fiber optic internet that doesn't slow down when everyone's home for the holidays. Check them out at allofiber.com.
There's a man in D.C. He stands 6'3".
He's fighting. AM 560 KBL. You, Russ Clark, with you, and Dean came back.
Yeah, and I'm glad to be here too.
Glad to have you. Let me see. The North Carolina. We were talking about the school board, and of course, last night having the school board, 2 members from the school board to talk was great. David Abera and Jeff Stoner.
You said they did a fantastic
They
job.
they just did, and they got the job because they had passion and they wanted to make positive changes for the kids, for the families. And I'm not saying the Democrats don't have passion, but I think they're directed differently.
Exactly.
You
I mean,
know?
it's conflicting philosophies.
Yeah. And they just want kids to come out with great, skill sets in reading and math and all that. And the Democrats want them to come out with great understanding of pronouns. I don't get it, but it seems to go into that, and they think that's helpful.
Well, some people want radical change.
Yeah.
And that's what the Democrats have come down to be for. And most people realize that this is the greatest country on earth, and we live in a golden age, and things are better now than they have ever been in the past. And they like that.
They started talking about kids that are acting up. What is it that we get to get them in line? What do we do? Well, apparently we set them down and talk to them sternly. And that's something.
It'll work with some kids.
So, probably it would work with me. When I was a kid, if that happened, I would have been devastated. You didn't have to pull out a paddle or anything.
But there are some children that don't take talking to.
Well, and they're they're going through that. Like, what are our steps and what should we do?
Right. There should be a definite steps. Everybody should know them.
But case in point, what do you do if you've taken a guy or kid that continuously adds up and you've talked to him sternly every week for 10 weeks?
Well, that's gone on too long. Way too long.
But there's no criteria.
There has to be a set beyond that.
It's all subjective, and
It has to be objective, or at least as close as we can make it.
Right. Well, and that's what they're dealing with right now. They haven't come up with all the answers yet, but they know they've got a problem because there's a persistent small group that's going to be a problem.
Right.
Something else that came up. It's a rumor. I don't know if it's true. We're going to check on it right now, but it came forward the possibility that the high schools are no longer keeping attendance.
Well, that should be easy to find out.
But yeah, apparently the students just sign in themselves and they take their word for it. Now,
well,
for those that don't know, the schools only get paid if a student is in class. If a student doesn't have a required amount of attendance days.
Now, is that state or federal?
I don't know.
I know federal, it goes by the number of student days. I'm not sure about the state.
Well, but if you lose federal money, that's enough.
Yeah, right.
So if the solution is not to stop counting.
No. Well,
if it's true, I don't know. They said they were going to investigate.
It's all speculative at this point.
Yeah.
And when you say sign in, does that mean you sign your name on a book or push a button or what?
I don't know. But if I was in school and I wanted to have a skip day, which I did in high school occasionally, not enough to cause a notice, a couple days a year, maybe not 10.
Yeah.
I would abuse the program because I was a teenager.
Well, in my high school it was a little more structured.
Yeah.
I didn't have a car.
I did.
I had to take a bus to school.
And we lived close to a beach.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah, so we take off, go to Rehoboth Beach or something to go see if Joe Biden was out there.
I'm amazed how many 16-year-olds have their own car nowadays.
Really? It was more when I was in high school. Every 16-year-old had it. Everyone I knew.
Wow. Not. I'm a little older than you, so maybe.
I bought a car when I was 15, about 15 and a half. I couldn't drive it till I was 16, except with my dad because I had a learner's permit. But I bought that car. I mean, with my own money.
Yeah, well, good.
We had to have it. I mean, it was you had a car, and then I took off school on my 16th birthday, so I'd go down and get my driver's license.
Sounds like a
which
reasonable
my
thing to do.
dad allowed me to do.
Yeah.
He said, sure. You don't go to school this morning. I'll write you an excuse. We'll go down and get your driver's license, and I'll drop you off at school.
There you go.
It was a nice day. Yeah, I got my driver's license. I had freedom.
3 driver's licenses?
No, I had freedom to drive. That was
freedom. Yes.
Freedom. So it was just.
Yes, a car brings enormous freedom with it.
It does, and it also gave an opportunity to do errands for my mom on a regular basis.
Yeah. Well, that's
could you
true.
take your little brother and drive him over? Sure, but I didn't mind.
Yeah, well,
the
maybe they'll
opportunity.
contribute to the gas later.
Opportunity to drive. I don't know if they ever did.
Yeah.
I don't know. Didn't matter. I was going to drive it anyway.
Yeah.
North Carolina has a library board that voted 5-2 in October, and this happened in Randolph County, North Carolina, on the Randolph County Public Library. 5-2 to keep a book in called "Call Me Max," a book about transgender boy. Put it back on the shelf, and there was a lot of pushback on that. They asked him. In fact, there was a request to actually have this taken out as a children's book. It's a children's book on transgender boys,
and it's a public library, not a school library.
Yeah, it's a public library. So the Randolph County Commissioners, which is like the county supervisors, voted 3-2 to remove the entire Randolph County Public Library's Board of Trustees.
Yeah, okay, they can do that.
Well, good for them. I was wondering, when I read that, I said, would the county supervisors here do that? The answer is no.
I don't know.
No.
I mean, you have research that
No, it wouldn't. I mean, they could.
Oh, they could.
I would think so. I mean, it's a county. I think so. I mean, that conversation never was had, but it's a county library. It's county paid for by county taxes that has oversight from the county supervisors.
Right.
But these county supervisors just said, "We're getting rid of that whole trustee. We don't trust them. You got to trust the trustees."
Well, exactly.
And goodbye. So I guess the book got taken off the shelf eventually.
Well, these trustees are probably appointed positions, I expect.
I don't know exactly how they come in, but they're not voted on like public. I mean, it doesn't go through the voting like you do for an elected official voting.
Right.
I mean, it might go to a voting within the other trustees or something. But
right.
I'm sure that's different. It's like the the hospital board.
Yes.
They voted, the hospital board, the existing board voted on the new board members, which is not necessarily very good because then it's self-licking ice cream.
Exactly.
So
there's no real oversight.
No. And I snuck in before they knew me very well. I was on the hospital board early on, and they didn't know me well. I don't imagine I could get elected now.
No, you've been on the radio too much.
Well, I would want to know what's going on and why.
Well, exactly, and maybe you can correct me because I just recall being told this. I'm not sure if it's 100% true that the executive of the hospital appointed himself to the board.
Yeah. I got a comment on that, but let me take a phone call. Let me take a phone call. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Russ. It's Bruce.
Hey, Bruce.
Yeah, I doubt they let you back on the hospital board. That would be for sure. Hey, a few weeks you were talking about the hospital, the prices. Well, recently Samantha needed the MRI with the contrast, some type of fluid, and the hospital here only charges me $9,700 and something dollars.
Wow, you got a discount.
Yeah, and that was paying cash. And we do have insurance, but we haven't met our deductible. So my wife's like, hey, find out how much it is in cash. We ended up having to go to Simon Med in Phoenix because they do that contrast. And that was a little bit under $1,000.
Right.
There's a big difference.
It is.
So, I mean, I mean, if
That's
you need to get an MRI, you need to go to Simon Med and stay away from the hospital.
welcome.
Because there was a big difference in that.
Welcome to the state of hospitals in the nation. It's not just an isolated thing with Yuma. They all work like that.
Oh yeah.
They just do. And when they charge 9,700 and they turn that over to the insurance company, they may get $500, and they say, "Okay, that's good enough."
Wow.
Yeah,
It's
that's interesting.
well, look, I just got some blood work done, and I don't have it in front of me, but I got a breakdown of like, okay, to check this was $150. My Medicare paid 20, and that's all paid off.
Yeah.
You know, so they were paying 10% or less on each little thing, because the total bill was like $2,000 or something, and they ended up paying, I don't know, $80, $90, and they said, "Done, paid it off."
Wow.
Yeah, but you start looking at those things, you say, "Well, how can they charge so much and only get 10%?" But it's set up like that. It's set up like that. So if you get somebody that really deals in cash, you'll get the real price.
Yeah, but that real price was just way too much. So
Oh
you know,
yeah,
and so
yeah,
even us driving to Phoenix, getting breakfast and lunch, and then driving back,
yeah.
it was still cheaper, way cheaper.
Oh, you could have got a hotel or taken an airplane there.
Yeah. So, did
Could have had somebody
you
fly me
offer
from
the
you.
hospital say, these guys in Phoenix will do it for 1,000? I'll give you 1,000.
Correct. I did tell them what, because they asked me where else are you shopping, because I guess nobody really calls and asks them, hey, how much is it going to cost?
Well,
And
That's part of the problem with a third payer system, because most people aren't paying.
Well, see, that's what Trump is talking about changing, giving the money to the people and let them shop it.
Yeah.
yeah,
But,
I
but
mean,
the system's not set up for that. You can't go on the internet and say, "Hey, how much does it cost to get an MRI?" Because you're never going to know. It's all a secret, or it comes out at $9,000, knowing that that's not the real price.
Right.
an MRI though is like $559. They told me, but with the contrast, obviously it was a little bit more. But hey, I'd rather pay $569 for MRI than paying I don't know how much it is at the hospital.
But they never worry about the price because nobody ever pays it. It always just goes to insurance. I'm going to say always.
Right.
The high percentage, like in the 90s, it goes to insurance. And some of it nobody ever pays. It gets written off. And the hospital's up against that. You know, they may charge 9,700. You may get 10% that pay nothing or 20% that pay nothing. You got some people that pay with insurance, and they just got to make money at the end of the day. So they charge whatever they need to charge to make that happen.
Yeah, but that's crazy though. But y'all have a wonderful day.
Thank you,
guys.
man. Take care, buddy. Bye-bye. Yeah, you never want to get involved. And I keep hearing that everybody wants to bring price transparency. It's never happened. There is no price transparency.
Not in the medical field, right?
No.
Unless you're talking about things that are not covered by insurance, like LASIK
plastic
surgery, for
yeah.
example.
But then it gets very cheap.
Right, because there's competition.
Yeah, it gets very cheap. You can get LASIK surgery. When it first came out, it was very expensive. Now it's
I haven't watched the prices lately, but I know it dropped
huge,
radically, like 80%.
And the equipment, everything got better.
Right,
Procedures got better.
everything got better.
Not when it's something like it goes to insurance. It just
Right. And then we have we're kind of a weird in-between system where it's all messed up and it's not capitalist and it's not socialist entirely. It's all just government mandated and all the incentives are backwards. It doesn't work very well. But you can go to Canada and you won't get an MRI. You'll be forbidden from getting an MRI.
Well, you can wait 6 months.
Yeah, or you can go to the U.S. and pay.
And I'm sure I'm sure you can go in some of our northern states where they administer to a lot of Canadians and get a cash price easily.
I would think so.
Because
there's a lot of people competing for that cash.
Yeah.
I mean, it only costs you a few $100s to go some other country, even to Europe, and a round trip ticket will probably be only a few hundred. So if you're talking something that costs thousands and you get it for a third the price somewhere else, you can go.
It's going to be 10%.
Yeah.
Versus what the hospital charges.
Depending on the procedure and everything else.
Correct. Absolutely correct. But my blood work alone, I'm looking at that. I'm like, my gosh, this is such a game.
Well, and most blood work is now done automatically by machine.
Yeah.
And it just, I mean,
except for the lady that sticks you in the arm.
right. And I've had that a bit done over the last few years with blood work. And my experience with people who stick you in the arm, they're really good. They get so much practice.
Oh yeah.
They do it multiple times every day.
Yeah, and I've never been an easy one. You know, there's some people that have a vein sticking up that's so obvious I could do it.
Yeah, that's kind of me.
Okay, that's why it's easy. Where if I get a rookie, man, they mess a few times, you know, so I know I'm a pincushion.
It happens.
It does. No, they're not trying. In fact, they start getting nervous. Then, like, I'm
And then
going
it
to get
gets worse.
right, and they think that I'm going to get angry about it, which I don't. I said, well, yeah, keep trying.
Do your best. Right. I always thought you're going to get better care if you try to be the best possible patient you can be.
Sure. Well, I think it's in life.
Well, I agree. It's part of my general philosophy.
Yeah.
But some people seem to think that they will get better care by screaming at the person giving the care. I don't think that works.
Well, and you're completely right about that. And I've talked to people like that, and they really believe that's the only way people function is with a stick.
Yes. It's not a productive or useful philosophy.
No, and that's a management technique, you know.
Oh, it is.
Many, you know, there's a sliding scale of too nice to too, you know, where do you stand on that sliding scale?
But
of picking up the stick and just hitting them.
Yeah.
But some people believe that workers will only work if you stand over them with a whip.
Well, I was reading some family history, and one of my uncles during the Depression couldn't get work. He needed to feed the family.
Yeah.
Worked at a sawmill, had a place available. He had to work 6 days a week from before dawn until after dark. After 2 days, he quit and said, Lincoln did away with slavery.
Well,
so if you have too bad a management style, you don't keep people who are willing to work.
Right. Right. I mean,
that was in extremis, and he still found a way to go somewhere else.
Yeah. I mean, you may stay there as a stopgap until you can find a real job, but I don't know how you look when you're not available to look.
Well, he just said no.
No.
I mean, it was so abusive.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to do that. Let's see. Oh, Susie Wiles. What do you know? I mean, is chief of staff.
Everything I've heard, she's one of the most incredibly productive and useful women that Trump has.
Are you saying women aren't useful?
No, I'm saying she is one of the most. Trump is famous for picking extremely bright and talented women as part of his organization, and she stands out amongst that group.
Apparently, she was the first hire.
Yeah,
Trump's first hire was Susie Wiles
in the second term.
Yeah, second term.
And because he had experience with people who were stabbing him in the back in the first term, in my opinion.
He learned a lot in that first term.
He did.
And that is to hire loyalty above experience even.
Well, what people say, personnel is policy.
Yeah.
You get the right personnel, you get the right policy.
And he hired a lot of great people in that first term, and people could do the job, but they weren't loyal.
Exactly.
And it caused a problem with the administration.
Huge.
So now he's got Susie Wiles, but Susie just finally made a mistake that put her in the headlines.
Well, I've read about it. The mistake was even giving these people any of your time.
That's the mistake. I mean, that is the mistake.
Because they cherry picked little fragments of sentences.
She went to Vanity Fair. Oh, she allowed Vanity Fair to do a story.
For interviews several hours, I understand, over time.
Yeah. And they put out some real distractive, terrible stuff, which out of context, probably, and according to Susie Wells.
So I understand.
Yeah. And she wrote on X, significant context was disregarded, and much of what I and others said about the team and the president was left out of the story. I assume, after reading it, that this was done to paint an overwhelmingly chaotic, negative narrative about the president and our team.
Yeah, kind of like 60 Minutes.
Yeah.
Or the BBC.
Yeah. Well, the BBC is being sued by what? 10
$10 billion.
I'm sorry, 10 billion.
Which rightly so. They picked
yeah.
a part of a sentence from many minutes away and put it together with another part to make Trump look bad. It's basic fraud.
Yes.
Clear fraud.
It was. And they'll get, it's not going to get 10 billion, but there'll be a payout.
There will be There will be a reckoning on this.
And that's a government owned.
Yes.
Deal.
Which tells me government media is a bad idea.
Yeah. Yeah. That's government owned. And I imagine I would think that would happen pretty fast just to get it out of the news.
Well, I read an account recently of someone who was on the very ground floor of the BBC, and he described how it developed. And basically he said, well, later on, I would never have gotten into the BBC because you had to be a very strong leftist to get in.
Yeah. And that's too bad. And and all these leftist organizations that are living in their own bubble, they don't know they're in a bubble.
I think some of them are starting to understand it, but most of them, you're correct. And I think that was the case in much of the United States, say from about 65 to 94, where a lot of people in the media believed that they were acting as free press, even though they didn't cover certain kinds of stories and didn't only covered the news from a perspective of a progressive leftist.
Right. And the PBS thing was so eye opening to me when they went to Congress to explain that they were not biased.
Yeah, that was funny. I remember hearing that.
And they were asked a simple question about their writing staff. Out of 87, how many are conservative?
None.
0.
Yeah,
but they didn't know it.
Well, they didn't even think about it. It was like they're in the water. They're the fish in the water. We can't see the water.
We hired good people.
Yeah.
They're all, every single one. Do you think that's by accident? No.
And then I recall reading an essay by some people, like maybe the Atlantic, talking about how they were discriminated against in the entertainment industry as white male. And they talked about how the break point was about 2014. And before that, there were significant majorities of white males in much of the industry, like 50% or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that by today, it's down into the teens, 11%, 15%, and deliberately done because they claim diversity. We have to have diversity, so we won't pick the best person for the job. We'll pick the person that gives us diversity.
But PBS doesn't give diversity because they'd hire the conservatives just to have diversity.
If they don't think of diversity that way.
I know. You're right. You're exactly right. And
I mean, and they say we're not discriminating by deliberately not hiring white males, which is, of course, is idiotic. They
definitely
absolutely are discriminating.
Yeah. And I remember a preacher once that it was a black preacher. And he said he looked at a group of people gathered to listen and said, I saw such a rainbow of people, Asians and blacks and people from all over the world. But I didn't see any diversity in that crowd at all. There was no diversity because they were all mind locked as liberals.
Oh,
every single one of them. There was no diversity.
Well, and this is what we see. I mean, when you get further and further to the left, your tolerance becomes less and less and less.
Yeah.
And I knew people. I still know people who are politically liberal, label themselves as liberal, and they have a fair amount of tolerance. They're just not leaders in the Democratic Party anymore.
Right, but they still stick with it.
Yes.
And they vote people in that they probably don't agree with overwhelmingly large amount of policies, but they don't see an alternative.
Right. I think you're correct. But I think that group of people is shrinking. That's what I
see. Think so. Oh, yeah. That's why we're seeing gains. A listener writes, and this is back to medical, have a family friend who was formerly from Yuma and now lives in Scotland. We were talking about healthcare. She mentioned that there are several expats who live in Scotland and prefer the English system versus the U.S. one. She personally hasn't experienced the issues you and your guests have expressed with medical care under that system. And I think that's going to be the overwhelming majority of people will like it and will not notice, well, what's the problem? You're not going to know a problem until you get some serious issue.
Correct. Exactly right. And most people don't vote for most of the time.
Don't have it.
But a lot of people get one or two serious issues, especially as they get older.
As you get older, yes. But then it's like, well, they're just older. And I know in Scotland, England, under that kind of care. In fact, we had a vice president at the hospital from there that explained the system to me. And it's accepted completely. But once you reach a certain age, like 65 or so, and you break a hip, you're not going to get a new hip. You're going to get crutches. And that's just the way life is, and they expect it. It's too bad, but that's the way it is.
Right. And of course, when you allow immigration of a large number of young people, then that takes up resources of the system too.
Yeah. Well, but we spend more than twice as much as any other Western.
Oh, well, yes. And it's really hard to be sure about to quantify that. And the reason is because within a system where everybody is making more money, you're going to spend more.
Yeah.
And so Americans make more money than people in Canada, and we spend more money than people in Canada. Americans in New York tend to make a lot more money than people in Yuma, Arizona, and they spend a lot more money. They have to. So part of it is just geographic.
Yeah, but the price of car is going to be the price of a car. But no matter how much you make, the thing that's going to be more would be the rent, the restaurants, the things within that. But buying medical care, shouldn't be that drastically
I
different.
wouldn't think it would be, but we don't have a free market.
No.
And there's not many places in the world that have free market in medical care.
Because and medical care isn't and I wish so much that you could go on the internet and say how much for a colonoscopy and get that price.
Right.
Because you could look at that and say, okay, I live in New York, prices are higher here. I can just travel 100 miles, go to Jersey, and get one for a third of the price.
New Hampshire.
That's why they don't do it, maybe. I don't know. But it would change everything if you could cross state lines.
Well, and most people don't do it because somebody else is paying.
Correct. It's simple. Your insurance covers it. Just run in.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I looked at a CAT scan recently, and I'm on Medicare because I'm over 65.
Yeah.
And the bill was something like $2,600. The cost to me was like $80.
Right.
So, I have almost no incentive not to do it.
Correct. Yeah, there's no reason to shop or anything. Just let the insurance companies handle it all. And I think it's bad. I think Trump is right. Let's open the system up. I don't know how you do that. I mean, it's
hard.
So ingrained.
It's very difficult because
they keep adding complexity.
Well, and our bureaucracy takes a huge amount of our medical dollars.
I don't even know how you audit them anymore. How do you audit it?
Very difficult. I don't know.
Because it's such a shell game.
It is.
And it's just the system we got. And the doctors spend so much time with paperwork.
Yes.
Which the other systems have got to be better on that.
And there's a huge amount of fear among doctors.
Of course.
Because of the way the bureaucracy is set up. I have had doctors tell me, now this was a few years ago, but I don't think it's gotten better, that it's impossible to be a doctor today and not commit felonies on a regular basis because the bureaucratic rules change so much. And if you just put the wrong code in, and now they have specialists to do that, and that adds another layer of expense.
Right.
Put the wrong code in, it's a felony. And the codes change all the time.
That's right. And they change them. And it was Musica out in the foothills was my doctor. And she called me one day, was just frantic. Look, I've got, the people here, the code people, the feds, whatever. And they're charging me $100 and some $1,000 because of miscoding, but they'll settle for $45,000 a day if I pay it today. I mean, it also sounds like a scam.
It does.
It says, can you give me John McCain's number so I can call him? I said, sure, I can get it to you. Whatever. But she ended up getting extorted and paying the $45 to get out of it. And then she'd stopped doing a private practice. She had to join a group for protection.
Exactly. And that's why there's very few private practitioners anymore.
Yeah.
One of the major reasons.
Right. Because they complex it so much. And you have to be on computer systems. You have to be tied in.
And I would say that this has been one of the things that has been happened by design, essentially. If you make it very complex so that private practitioners can no longer practice, then you get corporate.
Well, you're
medicine.
taking away your competition again. You're taking it away. And when I was on the hospital board, I like to work with I like to do the job, and I like to figure out what everyone was doing. So I would shadow a physician in the emergency room from midnight or till 9 o'clock through midnight till 9 o'clock in the morning for 12 hours, just to see what really happens on a full moon.
Yeah,
you know?
great.
It was really great. And at the end of the day, we debriefed and talked a little bit about it. And it was Richmond, Dr. Richmond. And I said, how many X-rays or MRIs or something did you do tonight? And he counted them up. I said, there were 9. I said, how many would you consider medically necessary for you to know what was going on versus because it was just procedurally the right thing? And he looked back at it and he says, I really only needed 2.
Wow.
That was him as a doctor saying, the others, you just do it because it's
Yes,
standard.
and this is a doctor talking to you privately.
Yeah.
They will admit things,
but they have no choice. Because if something happens, let's say one of he knows what's going on with you, he knows what's happening, he doesn't need an MRI,
right?
And then something bad happens, and the lawyers get involved,
right?
You say, well, did you do the MRI? No. Oh my God, you're going to jail.
There's $100,000. That is $100,000 charge settlement right there.
Yeah, you're not going to go to jail, but you're definitely going to be punished hugely because you'll lose insurance, you'll lose coverage, you didn't follow procedures. Who knows?
Something like that.
Yeah, because it starts becoming standard of care.
Well, when we had Dr. Connie Uribe on here a few weeks ago, she talked about that, and she said that when she was being trained, they said here's how you can save money. If you know the patient, you know what's going on, you can make a decision without having to have a whole bunch of tests because you know what's happening.
Right. They've been a patient for 20 years. We know them inside out. We've tested, everything's done. But that's old school.
That is.
And we're no better with all the technology. I mean, our results aren't better.
Well,
and I'm compared to other countries.
I think we have, in extreme cases, we have a lot better tech than we used to.
Of course.
And I personally believe that if I'd been born if I look back so that my lifespan was started 100 years earlier, I would have died already.
Yeah.
Several times over, mostly because of
Infectious diseases.
antibiotics and better procedure. So we've made progress, and people are living longer. Up until COVID, we were gaining 3 years of life expectancy for almost every decade.
But we have attacked the problem, and what you're mentioning is infectious diseases was the main killer. And of course, antibiotics started.
Well, there's a lot of major medical stuff. Surgery is a lot better too.
Yeah. But something we don't treat is old age.
Right. A lot of work being done.
but here's, and I was listening to a lecture just this morning, actually. I listen to boring stuff. A lady that's a genealogist, and she's looking at treating people through gene therapy. And she talked about, the things that killed people. We used to be infectious diseases. They focused on that. And now so few people die of that because we got antibiotics. We got so many things. We take care of that,
Yeah.
Look for it. And it used to be things that would kill you when you were young.
Right.
Okay. And the one thing we don't really look at is we just take it, well, you're just old. You're just old. And so we don't look at it, but nobody really dies of old age. It dies because of failures and systems and all that kind of stuff. And
heart attack
and
stroke.
And now they're doing work on even repairing the problems with the breakdown in the genes and stuff, and they've got the technology and gene therapy and stuff to take care of things that they couldn't do before. But when they see an 80-year-old patient, they said, no, you don't qualify for our survey. You don't qualify for it. And she says, that's wrong. That's people we need to be talking to and doing. And she's a doctor, and I forget, her child had a disease that you start becoming old at a very young age and die of old age.
Ah, yes.
With, your kid, because, and I forget the part that breaks down in the body, but she was working, she wanted to work on that. Well, that's the same thing that old people do need.
Right.
And it can be treated. And there's a lot of things that can be done. And we just don't look at it yet until we start doing it. Old
Well,
age can be treated.
You know, we have this famous conversation between Vladimir Putin and Xi of China that was supposedly an open mic, where they said, 70 is just a child anymore. Some people this century are going to live to be 150.
Yeah. There's things. But the problem with some of this technology that repairs you is you're actually using your own body's structure to do it. And you take one shot and it cures you, and you don't need another one. You can correct some gene therapy and some stuff with one shot. And who's going to make the money?
Well, see, I disagree. There's so many people that would benefit that a lot of people would make money.
Maybe.
And it's like the old people, old saying that, well, there's a carburetor out there that will allow ordinary cars and ordinary engines to run on water, or
get 100 miles per
gallon or whatever.
Those
and they say, well, the gas oil companies are suppressing it, buying these patents up. And I'm saying, well, if they had the patent, why wouldn't they make hundreds of billions of dollars by using it?
None of it was ever true.
Exactly.
None of it was ever true. This is.
Well, you're saying that the motivation to not do it is monetary.
I think so.
And I think there's so much money to be made by doing it that would
and we've got some people doing it, but it's niche now, and it's not.
But that's the way all these things start out.
Right.
And when you're talking about life extension, essentially,
yes,
it takes a while to prove them out.
Only a lifetime.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all. I'm going to take a break. We'll be right back. AM 560.
Unseasonably warm weather continues with partly cloudy skies and 81 today. It could be a record high. 5 to 10 mile per hour winds out of the northeast. Clear at 57 tonight. Sunny and 81 on Thursday. Sunny and 81 on Friday.
What's up, Yuma, and hello, Russ Clark Show listeners. Johnny Porter here, and I just made the switch to Allo Fiber, and it's a game changer. Lightning fast speeds for streaming, working from home, and gaming. No buffering or slowed down speeds. It's time to ditch the glitch and switch to Allo Fiber.
Hear that? Forget the sleigh. This holiday season, Santa rides a Harley. The elves at Bobby's Curatorial Harley-Davidson have been busy loading up the store and showroom with the perfect gifts for every rider or aspiring rider on your list. From genuine Harley-Davidson riding gear, casual clothes, gifts, and collectibles to the ultimate present, a shiny brand new bike. Don't settle for boring socks or ties this year. This holiday, give them Harley. Make their dream a reality. They've got the bikes, the gear, and everything else to make it happen. Visit Bobby's Curatorial Harley-Davidson today. 2550 East Gila Ridge Road.
Hello, my name is Denise Coronado, Director of Volunteer Services. Hospice of Yuma is thrilled to be the first hospice organization in Yuma County and one of 9 in the state of Arizona to achieve the Level 5 We Honor Veteran status. This honor reflects years of dedicated efforts by staff and volunteers to meet veterans' needs. We're committed to providing the highest level of care and support to veterans and their families. To become a Vet-to-Vet volunteer or for more information about Hospice of Yuma services, please call our office at 928-343-2222 or visit our website at hospiceofyuma.com.
Pioneers are the ones with
AM
arrows.
560 KBLU. Russ Clark with you. Pioneers are what?
The ones with arrows in their back.
Oh, is that what they are?
Pioneers. A lot of people have mentioned that. It's a way of saying being the first on anything is a risky business.
Susie Wiles. We started talking about Susie Wiles.
Yeah, well, we were talking about her a bit about how she gave this Vanity Fair people lots of access and they abused it and attacked it.
Well, now the dog had a few things to say. I don't know what wake her up, but maybe someone's here. The California Post opinion editor Joe Pollack talks about this, and he says, I don't know why Republicans continue to give privileged access to mainstream media or center-left publications determined to destroy them. Journalists are not your friends, especially from a Democrat agenda-driven outlet like the New York Times and Vanity Fair.
He's
Good
exactly
point.
correct.
That's a good point.
That's exactly correct.
Like, what did you expect to have happen?
I mean, the Trump administration has done a lot of things. They've broadened the pool of White House reporters and made sure that there's a spectrum of media included in there instead of just the good old boy network that existed from 1965 on.
Oh, he jammed them in.
Yeah.
And he doesn't mind dressing down a reporter that's just an idiot.
Yes.
Right in front of him. Right in
Part
front
of
of
his charm.
Yeah, it's just said, you're a terrible reporter. I need to take a question from somebody else.
Yes.
Oh man, he doesn't mind doing it. Did you hear Jake Tapper, speaking of Donald Trump? Jake Tapper is now questioning Donald Trump's health and ability to think cognitively.
Well, I think a lot of that is Jake Tapper doesn't like President Trump being president.
Right.
And number two, President Trump doesn't have the same assumptions about the nature of reality that Jake Tapper has. So Tapper is sometimes confused.
But of course, Tapper never questioned Biden. In fact,
Yes, exactly.
continued to say how wonderful he was
Yes.
until he was no longer in office. Then he wrote a book saying, wow,
Yeah, we knew and we did something.
man,
or something.
I had no idea it was this bad. Look how terrible he's been and all that stuff. But now he justifies going after Donald because he's learned his lessons from Biden and he doesn't want that mistake to happen again.
Yeah, that's really incredible.
It's not even sincere at all. Come on, man.
No,
Give me
I
a
don't
break.
believe it has any sincerity. And what's the old saying? Once you can fake sincerity, you got it all.
You can never fake sincerity, buddy.
That's
I did not see sincerity there. I didn't at all. Mark Hemingway, real conservative investigation. People need to realize that the legacy press isn't your friend. There is no amount of inviting them into the White House and being nice to them that will make them write fair and kind things about you. Someday we will have a Republican Party that understands it's never in their interest to talk to outlets such as Vanity Fair. Today is not that day.
Well, I think that's fair. And I think most people in the Republican Party understand that.
But you know,
maybe not. The older the politician is, the longer he's been in power, the less likely he is to understand that.
When we see a politician that's a Democrat walk away from, oh, you're from Fox News, and walk away like they don't matter. And I always look at that like, wow, what are those people afraid of? Why are they doing that? That is in their DNA. They only talk to friendly, and that's it. And I'm not talking 100%, but many of them. And I think Fox News is going to be a lot more fair and say fair as far as saying exactly what is being said. They're not going to twist it. They don't need to.
Right.
But we don't do that. We don't do that as much. We don't walk away from Vanity Fair as much.
Well, we should, and I think that's what people in the article you're looking at are saying.
And it was, I've had guests on from DC that said, look, news organizations becoming boutique, in that, you pick up the news organization that's going to do the things that you want done. Talk to just liberals or talk to just conservatives or just, give a viewpoint that's conservative.
Well, I call that fractured partisan media.
Well, yeah, you called it boutique, which is much nicer. It sounds sweeter.
Yeah, it sounds like a more sophisticated phrase. Maybe not sophisticated, just prettier.
Yeah, it's very pretty, boutique. Well, Vanity Fair is a boutique.
It is.
And they hate conservatives.
Yes.
So why would the president's right hand in the White House do that? And I'm sure she's answering those questions now.
She is. But I'll venture a guess. This is purely an informed guess. Yeah. They probably lied to her.
Probably.
They probably told her, we're going to do this and this and this and this. And then they didn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're probably going to get a lot of attention. They're going to sell a lot of magazines. People could be curious, like, well, how bad is it?
Yeah, but it doesn't last forever.
No.
They will not get another interview at the White House.
Oh, gosh, no. Not for many years.
Right.
It's not going to happen. But they don't care.
Right.
Isn't it Vanity Fair that put Michelle Obama on the front page, on the front cover for 3 years or something?
You may be correct. I don't recall.
They've never done Trump, Melania, who's actually a model.
Yeah, correct.
And a wonderful lady. But some things came out about trying to make it look chaotic. I would imagine that just by what they have to do, it's got to look chaotic at times. It has to. Because there's so many things popping all the time. So many things on the fire.
Well, that's right. And it's partly, in large part, I would say, because this administration is so energetic, so involved, so accomplishing so much so rapidly.
And she said something about alcohol. They look alcoholic or something, but they're not out. Not the image an alcoholic, but it has an alcoholic type tendency.
Personality.
Personality.
And it was taken out again, cut out of a partial sentence.
It may
without
sound like
context.
they're drinking, which was not the thing. Which is a shame. I mean, the whole thing's a shame. It's going to blow over. Trump's not going to do anything
I
to Susie
recall
Wiles.
talking to an alcohol and drug counselor, and she said, because I said, I've noticed this person I'm dealing with is really smart. She said, yeah, alcoholics tend to be really smart.
Is that right?
That's what I was told.
I didn't. Maybe that's why I quit drinking.
Well, I never started, so to speak. I'll go back to college days, and I found I didn't like it. But I think that there is some personalities that are very, very sharp find that they can use alcohol as a crutch. And President Trump saw what happened to his brother and said, that's not going to happen to me.
Yeah. He's been very vocal about that all his life.
Right.
That he won't drink.
Right. And for a good reason.
Yeah. Maybe he would be an alcoholic. Maybe one drink would put him under.
I doubt maybe one, because he doesn't drink, so one will affect you. And I can tell you, as someone who almost never drinks alcohol, I mean, a beer a year, maybe something like that. And one has a tremendous effect on me.
Sure. The Federalist editor-in-chief, Molly Hemingway, which I like. She said, genuinely sick to death of people on the right who seek the approval of left-wing media or even play with them for a minute. I can't take it. It's the saddest fetish.
Well, and she's right. I mean, and we have examples over and over and over.
It just keeps getting slapped in the face, right?
Right.
Yeah. And it was the comment was that saying Trump had alcoholic's personality.
And I'll bet if you looked at the whole paragraph, it comes out with a considerably different context.
Right. Yeah. But lessons learned, maybe for a minute. Who knows?
Well, I think Susan Wiles, the chief of staff, she's not been in the headlights.
No, she's behind the scenes.
She's been behind the scenes. And so this is a big lesson for her to learn. Stay behind the scenes.
Under like that, was it Steve Miller? Her right?
Stephen Miller, yeah.
God, he's fantastic
He's
on
brilliant.
air. Anytime he picks up a mic, I turn it on. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Russ, it's Ted again.
Yeah, Ted again.
I have to come to the assistance of my president.
Okay.
Coming from a family of down and out Scottish and Irish alcoholics.
Well, wow.
He has no thing close to being an alcoholic at abilities and stuff. Believe me.
I think they're talking about the type of personality that is subject to alcoholism.
No, you think it's all wrong, huh?
Totally wrong. Let me tell you right now. No.
Yeah.
No. He is nowhere close to having any attributes of alcoholism.
But that's not what she said.
That's what they said.
Yeah, they're trying to make it sound like
exactly
that.
right.
But Wiles said he has the personality of an alcoholic, which is a little. I think that's different.
I don't even agree with that. From all my experiences growing up around all of them, nothing of his personality is like what I witnessed with them.
Well, I understand what you're saying.
Nothing.
But they were practicing alcoholics. And I've known a lot of alcoholics who were brilliant people.
They did try to save me one time. They told me don't look down the barrel of the shotgun to see if it was loaded.
Oh, well, that's a good advice.
Yeah. Well, I have a friend that's Irish, and he explained to me why God invented alcohol. And I'm sure you know the answer, being Irish yourself. Just to make sure the Irish don't take over the world.
Well, some would say that might be why we had an assassination of a president back in the 60s, because he was Catholic. But
I thought you were going to say because he was an alcoholic.
No, he wasn't an alcoholic. He was a
he
womanizer.
Irish, though?
Yeah.
He was painkillers, man, from those injuries that it
Yeah,
happened
lots
to.
of that.
Definitely had that. All right,
But,
Ted.
okay, man.
Thank
Bye,
you, buddy. Bye-bye. It's Ted. I have Melanie has asked me twice now to get this message out, and I haven't done it.
Go.
So I'm not going to. No, I will. Apparently, she went to go pay her taxes. Now,
Property taxes?
Property taxes, Yuma County, property taxes. She went down to go pay them right there on 4th Avenue, and it's not there.
4th Avenue. It's not at 4th Avenue. It's on
Right.
Main Street.
Well, it was on 4th Avenue next.
It used to be.
Well, up until a month ago.
Well, I checked online before I went down.
Well, see, that's what you are. But it was right next to McDonald's there on 4th Avenue.
Yeah, well, it used to be. I paid him there several times.
Yeah. Well, she thought she could do it again. Now, while she was there to pay the taxes and realizing the building's closed, other people were doing the same thing, pulling up. A police officer pulled up.
Yeah,
Other
it's
people
good
pulled
to
up
notice.
and said, wow, how they closed the tax collector. No, no, it's downtown.
I think 197.
It's a new building. Right.
And I tell you, because it was an amazing experience. I went down there soon after they opened up. They opened at 8:00 in the morning, and there was no competition. I walked in. There were 2 tellers available. One of them motioned to me. She was competent, friendly,
she was
capable,
and working for the government.
Yes, and I went through everything, and it was done seamlessly, painlessly, and beautifully done.
Man.
I have to compliment her. I wish I had her name right on the tip of my tongue. I'd say how wonderful an employee she was, but there wasn't anybody else around, so maybe that's why it went so well.
Wow.
And I have to say that building is gorgeous. It's just looks expensive to me, but
it does, doesn't it? It looks nice.
It looks very nice. But where'd the money come from?
Well, from you mostly. You just paid taxes, I thought.
Didn't they get a federal grant or something?
No.
So
my Irish friend also says, in order to find his equal, an Irishman is forced to talk to God.
That's a little blasphemous.
I think that's reaching blasphemous right there. You
Yeah,
actually get
okay.
excommunicated for that kind of talk.
Well, it's a casual comment.
You're not going to get
We'll
excommunicated.
call it just boasting.
Yeah. Edward sends me U.S. Capitol unveils statue of teen civil rights icon Barbara. Let's see, who's that Barbara? I have to open up the article. A 16-year-old student's right.
Where was this?
Barbara Rose Johns, talking Robert E. Lee spot. She was 16 years old and 51 when she led a student strike for equal education.
Oh, they're erecting a statue?
Yeah, she died at 56 in 1991. Will replace one of Robert E. Lee's statues. It's going to replace a Robert E. Lee statue.
Well, they're reaching.
Wow.
I mean, she was a brave girl when she did this at 16, but what are her lifelong
She protested for conditions that are segregated Virginia High and pointed to replacements. And she's going to replace the General Robert E. Lee statue. It was removed several years ago. Yeah, just keep hiding our history, changing it. All right. We'll take a break here in a minute. I got a couple minutes.
Anyway, so if you've got to pay your taxes, go down to the new building. It's on Main Street. It has a big sign, Yuma Administrative Offices.
You can't miss it.
It's really nice.
It is. And now nice people take care of you. We'll be right back. AM 560.
There's a man in D.C. He's 6'3". He's fighting for you. He's fighting for me. He'll bring that swamp, just like he said. He'll make America great again. So get on that dumb train, run around him. We'll stand up for you. And the fight is blue. Yeah, get on that train. It's raining men. He'll make America great again. Stand up for our flag. Don't pick on me. Fly like a cow on the TV. Remember, soldiers, that died for you. Fighting for red, white, and blue. So, this is News Talk 560 KBLU. Yuma. A special interview for an ex-special counsel. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The Republican-led House Judiciary Committee is about to question in private Jack Smith, the former special counsel who got 2 Trump indictments and criminal cases dropped after the election. Chairman Jim Jordan tells Fox.
Remember, they put a gag order on the President of the United States. This is something we'll ask him about today.
Smith was subpoenaed this month to provide both testimony and documents relating to his various prosecutions of President Trump during his time between terms, including alleged efforts to overturn election results and alleged mishandling of classified documents. Smith had offered to testify publicly, though the committee Republicans declined that. Fox's Evan Brown. Tonight, President Trump will address the nation at 9 p.m. Eastern, expected to tout his accomplishments in the first year of his second term. Will he bring up Venezuela? The president structures so short days after the U.S. sees an oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela that he's ordering a blockade of all sanctioned oil tankers to Venezuela right in.
It'll only get bigger until such time as they return to the U.S. all the oil, land, and other assets they previously stole from us. The illegitimate Maduro regime is using oil from these stolen oil fields to finance, sell, drug terrorism, human trafficking, murder, and even kidnapping. Now, dictator Nicolas Maduro, again overnight, called the Trump administration thieves.
Fox's Gillian Turner at the State Department. There is more video in the search for the Brown University shooter. Fox's Brian Yanis reports from Providence. Police hope someone recognizes the mannerisms and walk of the man in the mask in the footage.
The Attorney General says so far the video release is the best they have of this person of interest. Police say video shows this man pacing the neighborhood 5.5 hours before the shooting.
2 students were murdered, 9 others wounded on Saturday. Nick Reiner could be arraigned in court this morning in Los Angeles today after being charged with murder and the stabbing deaths of his parents in Los Angeles. Americans listening to Fox News.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Business edition. Recipient from Michaela's mobile shop. Michaela got a quick business insurance quote from Progressive and shows from over 30 customizable coverages. Sure, now she's her only employee, does literally everything. But while others would rest on their laurels, Michaela was hard at work saving big. So take that hypothetical other employee who doesn't exist. See your own Michaela. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive is the insurance company. Coverage is not available on page for obvious and coverage sections.
I'm the CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plan started at $20 a month, and for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans with $5 credit for auto pay and even. See site for additional details.
From the News 11 Information Desk, I'm Juliana Aguilera. The special ed program that introduces teenage girls into the world of firefighting is now seeking applications. Catherine Burton lets students build teamwork, confidence, and leadership skills required as a firefighter. The camp includes hands-on activities like rappelling, extinguishing a fire, and hands-on medical tasks. The camp is scheduled for next February. Plus, this week, many locals are celebrating a significant Jewish holiday. This week, Hanukkah started on Sunday, December 14th, the holiday also known as the Festival of Lights. Each night, people gather together to light another candle on the menorah. There are 5 days left, which means 5 candles are left to light as the festival and celebration continues. Catch us on the TV set on News 11 every weekday at 5, 6, and 10 p.m. for your latest
local news, weather, and sports. At Exceptional Community Hospital, we are redefining what emergency care should feel like. Fast, personal, and compassionate. Our experienced ER physicians and staff are here 24/7 to care for your unexpected illness or injury. Don't wait for emergency care where you can be seen in minutes. With short wait times, you'll get the prompt attention you need because every minute matters. And if your recovery takes longer, we provide the inpatient care you deserve. Exceptional Community Hospital. Compassionate care. Exceptional service.
Hey, 60 you, Russ Clark with you. Gene's here.
Glad to be here.
I have Jim Pfaff with the Conservative Union Caucus on the phone. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are y'all?
Well, we're doing well. How are things in the chilly part of the country?
It's chilly. Actually, it's warming up now. So in November and December, I spend my time at my house in Bloomington, Indiana, where we found out recently they can play football. There, I just stay here. We got down below zero a few days, but we're back up in the 40s today. So, and it's going to be up at the 60 on the weekend. It's really weird.
Well, when it gets that cold, Jim, be careful because I read a story that old people shoveling snow have heart problems.
They do. Fortunately, I have a rock driveway that is impossible to shovel, so it saves me a little time there.
There you go. Just forget the whole thing. Hey, I talked to a gentleman that sat through a Democrat think tank the other day in D.C. To decide who's going to be supported as a Democrat frontrunner for the president in 28. And they came up with Harris as the best solution.
I love it.
Wow.
Listen.
Yeah, listen, have at it, guys. I'll take that bet all day long with any Republican nominee. But I do the same thing with Gavin Newsom. I think, listen, the record of these people is very poor. So the issue with Kamala Harris is she's just dumb, and everyone knows she's dumb.
Yeah.
Everyone knows she's from California, so we can point to California, although she can't take all direct credit for that like Gavin Newsom can. But she's certainly part of the problem there, and it's not what the American people want. If it's Gavin Newsom, then oh my gosh! I mean, especially for example, let's say Ron DeSantis got the nomination, which I don't necessarily predict, but let's just say he did. Ron DeSantis made him look like a fool in the debate they had quite a few months ago, and I can guarantee you that if it were J.D. Vance or even Marco Rubio, I mean, I just think he's going to get waylaid in a debate. The American people are going to get that, and I have a decent hope that in 2028 there's going to be a Republican president to build off of the Trump foundation. So now Congress is a different matter. But I think that there's a decently good chance you're going to see a Republican president. And so therefore the next 12 years, I predict will be a Republican president.
It's kind of hard to predict this because we don't know everything that's going to happen between then and now. But I like to agree with you on that. Now, the upcoming elections for Congress is very tight, and Democrats recognize it's tight. But they really see themselves as a five-seat majority by the end of it next year.
I think that's a possibility. Here's the problem. And you've heard me say many times, the weak part of the Trump agenda is Republicans in Congress. That's our problem right now. And Republicans are really good at being stupid about everything that really, really matters to the American people.
Yeah.
Right now, my challenge to Republicans in Congress is they get off their duffs, use the reconciliation process to ensconce as much of the Trumpios as they can, executive orders, to actually repeal Obamacare, which, by the way, a lot of people don't remember this, but much of Obamacare was passed through these reconciliation packages, which are designed to be a way to reconcile budget items and to reset the budget on the non-discretionary end of things, and it only has a majority vote in the Senate. I mean, if they're not going to get rid of the filibuster, they need to do stuff through reconciliation. They can repeal Obamacare through reconciliation, just like Obamacare, at least half of the worst part of it was passed through reconciliation. Keep in mind, the reason it passed originally is because Democrats had a supermajority in the Senate. And it was, which they had because, again, Republicans were stupid and couldn't win elections. So anyway, this is what's at stake here. And if they are willing to put a lot of these economic things that Donald Trump has done into law, I think the American people are going to embrace it. I think they're going to be very pleased, and they would give them a chance to, keep both houses. I think the Senate is not quite, but almost a foregone conclusion to stay Republican. So that's pretty good news.
Right.
But in terms of stopping impeachment efforts from the House, if Democrats got control, whatever, the House was way more up in the air. So anyway, we'll see what happens. But it's up to Republicans right now to win. It's not up to Democrats to win. They have to hope that Republicans are stupid.
I heard conversation that they had that they understand, the federal regulations on voting would cause them to not, include illegals, to make sure they do checks and all that. And they plan on ignoring it all because they always win the lawsuits after they get sued. Like, they can do whatever they want and realize that even though they sue us afterwards, no judge is going to throw it out. No judge is going to stop the election. So we can just make a mistake and be all inclusive. And it's a shame they're going to go into the election like that.
I think it's way up in the air. Again, this is something that Republicans should, in the face of Democrat opposition, according to Article, I think 2, Section 4, or Article 1, Section 4, excuse me, Republican or the Congress can regulate elections. We need to get rid of multi-day elections. We need to have a standard that says you can't count votes until up to a certain time, that you can't receive votes at all after the election closes, the night of the election. And we need to get rid of unsolicited mail ballots and put strong restrictions on absentee ballots. Listen, this has to be done. Republicans are scared of their own shadow on issues like this that are critical to the continuation of our republic, especially, by the way, as we're finding out more and more the problems with the 2020 election. This is becoming a bigger and bigger scandal as more and more information comes out, as we find out more information from documents that are being released from the federal government to see the shenanigans that the deep state during the first Trump administration and Democrats afterwards have been playing. So they better get serious, because they're going to have a permanent losing structure moving forward. The only way Democrats win elections these days is by attempting to rig how elections are run and to create chaos through violence, just like the LA riots and various other things that they do at the border. I mean, they win elections through chaos. They don't win elections through an American message that people can hold on to.
I completely agree. And they plan like chaos. And apparently that planning is going on now to do that. Something else I heard was strange. I don't remember which state now, but one of the state wants to do a redistricting at within the last week or two before the election and surprise everybody.
I don't think that's allowed.
I said, I don't know that can happen. It doesn't even sound legitimate to me. I don't think it can.
All that shit has to be done here by the end of the year or at the very beginning of next year.
Well,
and you can't do that last minute like that. And that would actually turn off the voters. They would consider it fair if that stuff can get done. And Florida has yet to do it. Apparently, they are going to call a special session to try to get this done. But if it's not done by the beginning of the year, then it's just going to be too late, because candidates won't have the ability to catch up.
That's what I mentioned. They said, well, they don't care. It'll create the chaos they need and everything else. We'll see. I mean, some of that may be good on paper. I don't know that they're actually going to do something that drastic. Because they're getting found out. Like you said, more and more comes out, but it's not hitting mainstream press. Most people don't know it. They still believe that if you're election denier, you're a bad man.
I don't know if that's true for most people, but it's a significant chunk, yes.
Well, we had the whole election denier thing come up in 2020 to the point where courts would not let the most obvious people to have standing in a court, candidates, to be able to challenge elections. You can say whatever you want about Donald Trump in 2020, even at the time when people weren't really sure all that was going on. There's no doubt that a presidential candidate has standing to challenge an election in a court. And that was totally denied him. And it's still being denied. I mean, we have a justice system that is not accountable for truth and reality and even the law. And these are battles that we're going to have to fight and win if we want to retain the liberties that we have, because our justice system is denying liberty all over the place and for a myriad of reasons.
It's becoming more obvious, and it's getting more. And I can't remember the exact numbers, but I read that in the judicial system, the federal judges that have pushed executive orders aside of Donald Trump's is it's like from five guys basically. Five of them have the majority of all those decisions, and I know we're starting to clamp down on it. We're starting to look at some of these judges, but nothing's really been done yet that's going to distract judges from doing it in the future.
Well, again, you have weak Republicans in Congress who are scared of their own shadows and not willing to make decisive moves to deal with the judicial system. And keep in mind, according to the Constitution, it is the Congress that creates the judicial system. The only part of the judicial system that is assumed to be established outside of the authority of Congress is the Supreme Court. Every inferior court to the Supreme Court is created by, set up by, funded by Congress. And Congress has a lot of authority to deal with these people, kind of like Judge Boasberg in the D.C. circuit, which is one of the worst offenders. He's one of the worst offenders here. That guy's court can be eliminated easily by a vote of Congress if they're just willing to do it. But they're not. Republicans are scared of their shadows. They don't take decisive action. And this is why, by the way, when a lot of Democrats get all upset about things that Donald Trump's doing, Donald Trump, on my review, has not violated the law in any way through his executive orders. At least I haven't seen it. There might be just that sticky thing someone could bring up. I haven't seen it. And every authority that he's undertaken is authority that's been granted by Congress at some time in the past.
Right.
So if Congress doesn't like these things, they can assert their authority again by a vote. But Republicans are not willing to deal with these issues. They don't even understand the Constitution, much less recognize that they have full authority in the Constitution, for example, to regulate what elections do. So, these are things that the American people would stand by Republicans if they were willing just to have the balls to get some of these things done.
Well, hopefully we get someone, but who knows where it's going to be. I'm disappointed to think that we might lose the House this year. I hope we don't, because it's so close. We can win it if we put our efforts into it.
Oh, it's better than close.
Yeah.
Listen, Republicans have all the advantages in this election cycle. They have an electorate that are frustrated with Washington, D.C. Independents, Republicans, and even some Democrats still are. If you see any, retreat or retraction of support for Republicans from areas where Donald Trump got strong support, it's because those people don't trust the members of Congress. And the electorate is a little bit different too, by the way, in an off-year election when a Republican is not on the presidential ballot. And so you have less people, and you've got to get to those people. You have to identify them, you have to bring them out to vote, and then you need to do things that they want done. What do they want done? They want continued effort keeping the border clean, which is one of the great accomplishments of the Trump administration. They want the DOGE efforts to expand, which, by the way, Donald Trump has also done a massive amount of work on it. I don't know if you've seen some of the charts that are out there about numbers of federal employees.
Yes.
They have precipitously dropped thanks to Donald Trump and the authority he's given my friend Russ Clark, LV director, to deal with those things. And when you see these, and here's another thing, and this needs to be communicated well. When you see these employment numbers seemingly low in the last few months, part of that's just because government shutdown and gathering up those numbers and people weren't there to do it. But part of it is because massive reductions in federal employment, which was the largest area of growth in employment during the Biden administration. It was in federal and state employees. It was expansion of government. You just got to keep doing these things. It will free up the American people. It'll reduce inflation because our deficits will be lower. And it gives people more freedom to operate in their businesses and do things through their own actions rather than having to wait for some government bureaucrat to tell them whether or not they can do it.
We should include that Fed number when we give the statistics. I think that.
Well, we do. We do. The employment statistics do show that and break it out.
Okay.
The point is you have to message that way. The other issue related to unemployment that are in statistics that people don't often talk about is the actual size of the workforce. Anyone that's not looking for a job over a certain number of months are considered to be not looking for employment, which changes the number of overall potential employees. And thus, that percentage is based on people actively looking for employment. So that fluctuates as well too. We have some of the largest non-participation in the employment market right now that we've had. We're in the upper part of that over the last few decades, and part of that is because of economic problems. When economic health comes into place, people start looking for employment again because more jobs are available. That changes those numbers. And it makes things look good. But these things just have to be messaged by the Trump administration, which he's beginning to do, and he's going to address tonight, which I don't know the substance of it, but I think it's going to be on the economy. That if he nails that, that's going to help a whole lot, and then Republicans are just going to have to build off of that. The other number, by the way, on gross domestic product, we have 4% growth in gross domestic product at the same time that government spending is actually on a reduction path. And gross domestic product is not just private efforts. It includes government spending. We're still having 4% growth as government spending is going down a little bit. These are all things that Donald Trump can talk about fruitfully, and Republicans can talk about if they're willing to build off those successes.
That's huge. I guess I don't even keep that in mind when Biden's in. You could hire a bunch of employees, get your employee numbers up, spend more money, and the gross domestic product looks good. At the same time, you're driving yourself into a hole.
Huge hole.
That's exactly right. And gross domestic product is one of these macroeconomic numbers that are about big government to begin with. Yeah. I mean, it really is a big government number. We need to really redo how we figure gross domestic product or find a better way to show actual economic activity, because every bit of government spending takes away from economic activity. It doesn't enhance it in any way. It's a theft of people's money put into incompetent, typically, and inefficient hands. And then when you add the NGO spending to this, which, by the way, did you see recently, and I'm going to do some more research on this, there are $14 trillion on the balance sheets of non-government organizations. That has been a massive transfer of wealth from the American people into mostly left-aligned non-government, nonprofit organizations. It's been a huge problem that we need to deal with as well.
I had no idea. 14 trillion. No, I didn't read that. That's amazing.
That is a combined amount of money. That is an amount of money that is greater than the combined gross domestic product of Japan, India, and I forget which other country. Like 3 different countries. It's greater than their combined domestic product. It's a huge number. And this began in the Obama administration as a concerted effort to get political activity for in support of Democrats constantly funded year round. It's one of the reasons that Democrats are much better at political activity than Republicans are, because they've got people ready to go even in off years, whereas Republicans have to gin all that activity back up again every 2 years. It's really crazy, and one of these things we don't talk about enough.
Well, it's coming out of taxpayer money.
It is.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. We need to entirely eliminate non-government organization spending. If you're going to do any of that work, which I don't think we should do any of it, but if you are going to do it, it should be under government auspices only. It should, and subject to the laws that, like the Hatch Act, that keep government employees from being able to get involved in politics.
Right.
So that has been a huge shift and change in this century. We saw some of this in the 20th century, but here in the 21st century, it's gone on steroids, largely because of the efforts of the Obama administration.
Changing the subject to oil tankers, it looks like, and I didn't really understand that according to international law, we can take a ghost ship oil tanker, and nobody really does it much. Germany did one a couple of years ago, but we can take them. They're dangerous, and there's 1,000 of them out there. And what's Trump's plan going forward, other than blockading Venezuela?
Well, that's the main plan, and to keep Maduro from getting revenue. And remember, their oil industry is nationalized. It's run by the government. It reduces the amount of money that Maduro can use to maintain his power. And it's a way in which Donald Trump is obviously and purposefully, it seems to me, trying to avoid war with another country, Venezuela in this particular case. Maduro is on shaky ground. The only reason he maintains any power at all is because of the fact that he is literally a dictator in his own country. Yeah. When you deprive him of money to undertake the efforts necessary to maintain that power, then you make him weaker. The people of Venezuela, they're in Venezuela, and those expatriated to other countries because they're trying to deliver themselves from that socialist institution. I think that they totally support this, and you may be able to gin up enough instability for Maduro to have a radical change in government. Yeah. And listen, I don't believe in regime change efforts. We always fail at them as a country. We failed every single time we do. But there does need to be a regime change there. Even if Maduro goes away, there's still going to be some potential issues. This lady who got the Nobel Prize, whose name is escaping me presently,
Maria.
She's a very likely potential replacement for Maduro. I don't know enough about her to know how effectively she'd be able to undertake that. But that is certainly a better situation than the one that exists now. And Venezuela has the potential to be a massively successful country. In fact, prior to Hugo Chavez becoming the dictator there, their economy was booming. It was one of the largest economies in the world, not just because of oil. They have a lot of natural resources, and they had a lot of entrepreneurial activity that is essentially gone. And so that country in the next 10 years, if Maduro were to go out of power now and they get free government back, it has the potential to be one of the most powerful economic nations in the region.
Yeah. But do you think we're going to take more ships? And I don't know what the process is, but I guess
we should.
The skipper right now is, and I think that's the name of the ship, is, they've got to litigate that to get that turned over. But apparently these things are going without certification, without safety inspection. They're older ships. They're flying under the radar, and apparently countries can take and confiscate these ships. I don't know why the world doesn't do it. They know it's dangerous.
Well, I right now at the moment, I'm not as concerned about the world as about our own hemisphere here. Yeah. And we need to, the purpose of the Monroe Doctrine, which has had criticism throughout the last couple centuries since James Monroe asserted it. But the Monroe Doctrine is actually a very positive thing, because the real risk isn't even only that Venezuela is a socialist country. That's one thing, and they have risks that are real. The greater risk is the fact that Russia and China and other countries are coming into our hemisphere and asserting their authority. And that should not be. We dealt with that issue with the Panama Canal. Now we need to deal with it in Venezuela and a few other countries that play footsie with China in particular. Brazil is one that we need to deal with as well. And we've talked about that issue before. But, you look, right now there is a trend in South America towards conservative free market governments. You have Malay elected in Argentina. You just had a very conservative new president elected in Chile, which Chile was the strongest economy in South America for a long period of time, thanks to the advice of people like Milton Friedman back in the 1970s. And when their dictatorial regime back then went away, they instituted free government and just had a radical shift in economic activity. They're heading back that way after a short period with some socialists getting elected. You're seeing a move in that region towards reform. And if that can happen, this hemisphere becomes very strong. We maintain stability in this area, and it is a great counter to the more socialist, communist, big government activity that's happening worldwide. But you're seeing this shift happen a little bit in Europe as well, too, even though it's not quite gotten better. You just had Bulgaria, by the way, have a popular uprising to put in a more conservative government. This is the trend around the world that Donald Trump in part has inspired, and that we need to be positive and helpful to by maintaining our strength here at home as a primary consideration.
My fact checker's busy checking your NGO statistics, and it only came up to 13.916 trillion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Way off.
Just want to let you know. But he was shocked by it. He's a guy who lives there in D.C. and does research. But he was shocked by that number of total assets. It was total assets. He says, "Wow, And now he's checking the political leanings of the NGOs. What do you want?
They're largely leftist-leaning organizations. I mean, there's a lot of George Soros Open Society funded and propped up organizations in this list. And they're not every one of them are leftist aligned, but a lot of them are. There's a lot of money. And when you really look into it, remember, there are hundreds of billions of dollars that have been going into NGOs every year since the Obama administration. Actually, prior to that, too, to some degree, but really on steroids.
Yeah.
And so you're talking about trillions of dollars that have moved into these organizations. Of course, if you're a nonprofit organization, you can put some of your money out to grow. And then you have the support of people like George Soros and others who put money in these. And so there's a lot of really negative things that have happened because the federal government changed its approach under Obama from being the government that fulfilled the needs laid out in the Constitution and has turned to radically shifting their efforts towards, catering the political environment here in the United States. And this is really a major component of the deep state. The deep state has always been, by means of the CIA and USAID and other organizations, out there attempting to do regime change in other countries and have focused their efforts, beginning with the Obama administration in large part, to regime change here in the United States, evidenced by all that Donald Trump's had to deal with during his time in office.
It's been amazing. The NGOs. I mean, I was not aware, but I think the world's becoming aware. I think countries becoming aware. But getting that unraveled isn't going to be easy.
No, it's not, and you have to have a lot of political will to do it. And I am concerned where that political will is going to come from in the kind of strength that it comes through Donald Trump, but whoever succeeds him in 2028 and or what happens after 2026. We've got a lot to deal with here. The tentacles of this effort are very deep in our government and very deep in governments around the world. And although we are seeing popular electoral efforts and uprisings like in Bulgaria and other places that are starting to shift this a little bit, but you have to aggressively go and kill the beast within your own borders, and if you want to have change long term. Not elections aren't enough, but they are a start.
My fact checker has done some preliminary work on the political leanings. He's double checking it now with his office in New York City, but he says that 74% of tracked dark money support went to Democrat efforts, 26% went to Republican efforts. They're double checking.
I doubt the 26% number, but it may be that high. I doubt it very seriously.
Well, you and I'll go over to his house and slap him around, man.
Hey, listen, I don't like being fact checked. I don't know why I have to come on your program and be fact checked.
Well, it's going to happen. I get it every day, man, every day. So get used to that.
But yeah, that's a massive amount of effort and a massive amount of resources to oppose Republicans. But again, Democrats cannot win a fair fight by appealing to the American people with ideas that you have.
Yeah.
And this is why, when you look at the shift from a Kennedy-esque Democrat Party from when John Kennedy was president, and it lingered a little bit through the 70s, although not much so, to this radical leftist shift, there was a time when Democrats could appeal to the American people on the basis of their ideas. In my opinion, even back then, false and flawed, but nonetheless American ideas. And that shift has changed to brute force because they do want permanent power. The Democrat Party is not an American party. They don't believe in the restraints of the Constitution. They do not believe in the American ideal that leaves success in the hands of its people, that encourages the goodness of culture as opposed to these radical DEI, pro-transgender, et cetera, efforts to try to massage culture to meet its political ends. That's what those efforts are all about. And we need to oppose those in every way and call them out for what they are. And there's no reason to be very nice about it. We need a kindness effort that says we're for the good of the American people based upon the Judeo-Christian ethic that laid the foundations of what this government is. And we need to reassert that in the public square and electorally.
Well said. You should schedule an interview with Vanity Fair and maybe get an article written about you.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be entirely favorable and helpful and useful, right?
Probably not.
No. Well, and Susan Wiles obviously knew that and still did what she did. And what a crazy, stupid effort.
Yeah, unfortunate. Very unfortunate. I'm running out of time, but the Conservative Union, Jim Pfaff, thank you so much, sir. I appreciate all the help.
And people want to learn more, just go to theconservativecaucus.com.
Thank you, sir. Take care. Bye-bye. And we'll be right back. AM 560, KBOU.
Unseasonably warm weather continues with partly cloudy skies and 81 today. It could be a record high. 5 to 10 mile per hour winds out of the northeast. Clear at 57 tonight. Sunny and 81 on Thursday. Sunny and 81 on Friday.
These politicians are driving me nuts.
So that's what's doing it.
What?
Stop scrolling, man. We're here for some Christmas cheer.
Hey, you know what's on my Christmas list? I'd like one Republican who is the sellout.
Okay, Merry Christmas. That's David Schweikert.
Schweikert?
Scottsdale congressman, hardcore conservative, running for governor.
Oh, sure, Schweikert. That guy's a fighter. Helped write and deliver Trump's tax cuts, right?
Bingo. Schweikert stood strong with Trump, and Schweikert's totally uncompromising on illegal immigration, 100%.
Hey, Schweikert must be solid because the libs have been attacking him like forever. They spent millions smearing the guy, and Schweikert wins anyway.
Plus, I'm pretty sure Schweikert knows Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Aha! Well, that settles it. I'm going with David Schweikert for governor, a real conservative.
Paid for by Win Arizona with 0% from out-of-state contributors. Not authorized by a candidate.
There's a man in D.C. He stands 6'3". He's fighting for you. He's fighting for me. He'll bring
AM 560, Russ Clark with you. It's 8:38 on Wednesday. Gene, there's something. Dean.
Yeah.
Dean. I was like, oh, I get that wrong. Man, it's really good, Edward. And I don't know what kind of equipment he's got, artificial intelligence or whatever he's got, but he had his New York City office look into it. a deeper dive enhanced the definition of Democrat, liberal, left, of center. 79% Democrat, 11% Republican, 10% unknown.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now,
His definition of conservative was too loose.
Yeah, I'm suspecting this may include places like Harvard, Yale.
NGO could be anything. It's just on government, and there's going to be a lot of NGOs that are probably helpful, useful, and necessary, and some that are out and out high expenses and overhead that goes back to a party.
Well, when I have looked at prominent NGOs over time, what I see is that they often start out as either sort of neutral or even conservative, and then they often get taken over by far left administrators.
Yeah.
Like the Annenberg Foundation, for example.
Yeah. And I hope we get into this, but look, Trump right now has kicked how many hornets' nests? That he's just going after.
The thing is, it doesn't seem to matter after you kick a couple.
Just keep kicking them.
They just, the rest of it, there's a lot of hornets around.
His most recent ones is the defense industry. Now, the defense industry, Lockheed Martin and those kind of guys making airplanes and all that kind of stuff. One thing I think they have in common, and I haven't got the statistics on any of this, but when they bid on a project, you almost have to double it because you figure it's always cost overruns. And I think that's kind of built into the system.
I think we have, when a system comes in at cost and on time, it's remarkable.
It doesn't happen, does it? Very often.
Very remarkable.
So a lot of these guys, and maybe the cost overruns are good because they get into a system and the government requires a change. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, that can happen. There's all kinds of things that can happen.
But cost overruns seem to be the thing of the day. And Trump is looking at this defense giants right now, and he's planning an executive order that would limit dividends, paybacks, and executive pay for defense contractors whose projects are over budget and delayed. But apparently,
put the right incentives in place, you get change.
Yeah, exactly. But right now, the right incentives are you get the contract, and then live off of the delays, live off of the over budget, and then pay your shareholders a lot of money.
Yeah,
and we're taking it in the shorts,
right?
The taxpayer.
I mean, I have to say that we probably have the best military equipment in the world.
Sure.
So you're always have a little bit of risk when you change the system.
Yep. And in the military, and my son's in the military. You were in the military, and my son looked at careers in the military. Before he decided on one. He's in the military academy, so he had access to so many. In fact, he spent some summers out in the field working with different agencies in the military to see what he liked. And he worked with intelligence, and he worked with maintenance, and he worked all over. And what he came up with, and after his decision, is intelligence sounds like a fun job because it's like a spy or something. No, intelligence is a desk job where you don't really talk to too many people. You gather a lot of information so you can inform commanders and stuff, but you can't. It's
as an officer, particularly. Yeah, you don't put officers out as agents generally.
Yeah, but it's not something that you spend a long time with. A lot of people retire early; they have a bigger turnover. It's not a hands-on fun job like flying a jet or something.
Yeah. Okay.
But they do very well. Intelligence officers do very well because they get snatched up by these defense contractors.
Yeah.
They may work for a good pay at the military, but then triple it to go to a defense contract. And obviously, they've got inside knowledge of people and all that stuff, and they're fighting to get contracts. Well, they know what people are looking for to get contracts. They know all that stuff, procurement, and all that stuff. So
they understand the system.
But he looked at all that and before he decided on what it was. But he didn't want that. He wanted to have a military career, not one where I could set myself up for an awesome career at a defense contractor.
Well, I'll tell you, intelligence is extremely important to the military.
Yeah, imagine.
It's a critical thing because if you don't know what's going on, you fail.
Yeah,
you have to have an accurate picture of what's happening.
I don't know what all goes on in the intelligence, but it's easy to figure out stuff that I don't need to know.
In warfare, the truth is a precious commodity. You don't let go of it easily.
Yeah.
And the first thing that in a war, people have said this, and I think it's correct. The first casualty is the truth, because both sides you look at the Ukraine-Russia war, both sides are putting out disinformation. They're both conducting information warfare right from the beginning, as they have to. If they're going to be effective, they have to do that. We
Yeah.
did the same thing in World War II. When we mounted the campaign to invade on D-Day, we had a huge effort, disinformation, to convince the Nazis we were going to invade somewhere else. And they fell for a good chunk of it, which is one of the reasons D-Day was successful.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying that I wouldn't denigrate intelligence officers. We need them, and they do a lot.
Oh, I wouldn't denigrate it at all.
Useful
It just
work.
it's just not what my son saw.
Well,
as
sure, I
exciting, you know.
understand that, and it's a very difficult job. And also, when I looked at where you put smartest people, because we test people in the military, intelligence officers, or the intelligence field is the top smartest people.
I don't doubt it. But they also can't talk about what they do.
I understand. Of course they can't. No,
So-
they can't. I mean, it's just part of the way things work.
So how do they go at the office today? I can't talk about it.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
and people who work, how to put it, as more as agents, and those are almost all enlisted people, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They can't tell their family. They might disappear for months. They don't know where they've gone or what they're doing.
Right.
And sometimes, the report comes back killed in a training accident.
But I know in the Air Force, before flights are made and all that, they talk to the intelligence officers about where things are, what's going to happen, what's happening on the ground, where everything's located, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, they get it from the office.
And success or failure depends a lot on whether you have good intelligence.
Well, take a look at Ukraine and Russia.
Yes. I think the intelligence failure by the Russians for Vladimir Putin was immense, incredible. He got really bad advice. This will be a cakewalk. Remember, they took their dress uniforms. We're going to parade through.
I didn't know that. They took their dress uniforms.
That's what it was reported. I can't swear, but it was reported that they did. Take your uniforms, because we're going to have, in a week or two, we'll have a parade through Kiev. And it didn't happen because it was an immense failure of intelligence on the Russian side. And I think that a lot of it was that their Ukrainian sources either didn't have the power or they lied to them. And they, the reason that the Russian invasion failed was the Ukrainians said, we're not going to take it. And it wasn't just the Ukrainian military, and it wasn't all of the Ukrainian military. Some military units failed, but there were a lot of Ukrainian reservists and people who weren't in the military that said, how can we stop these Russians? And they did things like blowing up a dam to flood an area where the tanks would have to get through to get to the capital.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and, at least the stories I read, they sounded credible. You don't know. It's a fog of war. Like I said, there's all kinds of information warfare out there. But somebody says, hey, we've got to get this dam open to get this water there to stop the attack. And it goes to a military unit and says, I need explosives. I need primers. I need some help. And they give him a person and a bunch of explosives, and he goes off and blows up the dam.
Yeah. They did a lot of that with like ATVs and stuff.
All
It was
kinds
just
of
small
things.
people.
It was a large part people of Ukraine who actually said, no, we're not going to.
They're
allow
fighting
this
for
to
their
happen."
homeland. They're fighting for their existence. They
Yeah.
were doing whatever. So, yeah, intelligence. I imagine that they had a big turnover in intelligence officers in Russia.
I suspect so, but it's hard to know exactly. Trying to get inside either the Russian or Ukrainian intelligence apparatus right now, they don't look very favorably at it. The Russians have always been very closed in that, and we are too, and we should be.
Sure.
So I'm just saying we can't know precisely what's going on.
We've talked about gun rights and all that, and in a lot of places in the world, Western countries like Britain, they don't have rights to carry guns like we do.
No, they used to, by the way.
Yeah. Well,
up until 1920, there wasn't any law against carrying concealed weapons in Britain.
well, they've changed hugely, but assaults and stuff in Britain still happen, and they happen without guns. And one of the things that I found most distressing, one of the distressing ones, the scary ones, was burglars or robbers or muggers would carry battery acid and threaten to throw it in your face if you don't give me your purse.
Yeah, I think when I recall this trend, it started out with if a woman didn't wasn't willing to succumb to them, or they wanted this woman and the woman didn't want them, or it was a honor attack or something like that, they would use acid to disfigure women and often blind them. It's horrible stuff.
Well, it just happened in Georgia.
Yes, I recall this case.
Oh man! And this poor woman, Wesley Lazuki, Lazuski, something. It's a Polish name. we'll call her Wesley. Well, Wesley didn't know who her attacker was.
Right.
It happened at 8:15 at night on December 10th, just recently, and it happened in Savannah. And unknown male, dark clothing. She doesn't have any enemies. She doesn't have any friends, according to her son. And her son's Wesley, by the way, not her. She's Ashley. But Ashley is 46 years old. She's burned, the severe burns covering 50% of her body.
Wow. Oof.
And this masked man just came up behind her and poured acid on her face with no understanding as to what. It wasn't a robbery, it wasn't a mugging.
Yeah.
Apparently, he just poured acid. Just an unknown male.
I think, is she blonde?
No, brunette.
Okay.
I saw pictures before and after. Now she's completely covered with bandages, her whole face.
Yeah, right. I saw a picture of her in the hospital.
Her clothes were melted, and so were her car keys. Now, what acid melts your car keys?
Well, there's a lot of plastic on car keys.
Okay.
Maybe. So I suspect that's what.
But witnesses say her screams were terrifying. You think?
Yeah.
FBI Atlanta branch has put out a $5,000 reward. They just did that Monday that leads to the arrest and conviction of the person responsible.
Yeah.
It's
almost certainly high sulfuric acid is what's used in car batteries.
Yeah.
That's the easiest acid to probably get a hold of.
We used to sell tons of it.
Oh, yeah.
But, it's just a normal thing. Never thought of it being a weapon. No.
Well, what it shows you is that it's the motivation. It's the people that are the danger, not any particular weapon as such.
I would think if you start using it, you're going to get as much spilled on you as anybody.
Well, you probably, that's a real serious thing can happen.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I mean, she probably didn't understand exactly what was going on right away either.
No, you think it's somebody dumped their iced tea on me or something.
Well, you just don't know.
Yeah.
And but if the attacker obviously knew what was going on, they could wear rubber gloves and other things to try to mitigate it. And if they spilled anything on the clothes, just get rid of those clothes right away. I'll admit to being stupid when I was young. I think I was about 14 or so.
Really?
And I made an apparatus for electrolysis to break water down in hydrogen and oxygen. And I wasn't as careful as I should be, and it blew up. And it didn't, it didn't cause serious damage. There was a gash cut in my father's forehead because he was just looking in to tell me to stop in the room. And I had a cut near one eye, but it missed the eye.
Oh, my goodness.
And but the acid, it was sulfuric acid, went all over clothes, particularly my clothes and my brother's clothes.
Yeah.
And we immediately got them off and washed ourselves up and, did everything to get this acid off. And we took those clothes and we washed them in water and rinsed them a couple of times. And then they dried and I put them on the next day, went to school, and the blue jeans started falling apart.
Yeah, I was going to say. That was an interesting look. You probably started a trend, acid wash jeans.
Yeah, well, what I'm saying is this is nasty stuff, but it takes a little bit. Now, of course, the burning you'll feel right away, very quickly.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But
as long as it's not too severe. This girl got 50% of her body. Her body's in shock.
Horrible.
And she's not going to look the same.
Right. Yeah, and I hope they catch the guy. But there's, in today's society, there's so many cameras around and tracking that hopefully they have a chance to catch him. I saw one image that claimed to be of him, but it was hardly definitive. They may well catch him because a lot of times these people can't keep their mouth shut and they say something.
Right. And it sounds like, of course, that we're just using her testimony that it was an unknown.
Right, that she didn't know, had no idea.
Which makes it even more heinous because that makes us all vulnerable.
Right, exactly so. Most of the cases I'd heard about in England, the attacker was known to the person who got attacked, at least initially. Now, that may not be happening now. It may have grown. People say, oh, yeah, this is a great weapon. But it's nasty stuff.
Oh, man. Well, they're using knives, too, in England.
Oh, yeah.
Knives. And, kitchen knives, steak knives. They'll work.
Yeah, I've written an account of a guy who was a criminal with knives, and he said, I like to use a common kitchen knife. It's cheap and easy and effective.
Yeah, there you go. Doesn't matter if it's a cheap one because you're not going to sharpen it.
Well, you sharpen it once, and then, by the time it's dull, you're done with it.
Yeah. Ditch it. Donald Trump just declared the Venezuelan regime a foreign terrorist organization and has an oil tanker blockade. That surprised me. I guess it shouldn't. I don't know what's coming, but to blockade to make sure no oil tankers come and go out of Venezuela.
Right.
I mean, that will shut down.
Well,
I don't think they pipeline it out anywhere.
I mean, this is part of his overall foreign policy to make America great again. This, again, puts pressure on Russia and China and Iran because they all were friends with Venezuela.
But what it makes me think of, Dean, we hear all this rhetoric and this stuff back and forth. We've been hearing it for 3 years. The president, whether it's Biden, Trump, whatever, like, well, we're gonna sanction them and we're gonna cut off this and cut off that. And it never happens. It just keeps flowing and flowing. Nothing happens.
Well,
and now they say we're gonna do a blockade. They could have done that blockade many years ago when they said they were doing sanctions.
Well, I would say if you look at Trump's first term, he applied a lot of sanctions. They worked. Iran was on the ropes. They had no money.
You're right.
I mean, and then we got the Biden administration, and they said, "No, we love Iran. We have to give Iran lots of money. We have to."
They
help
released
them."
it all. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy
For hostages.
for whatever.
Yeah,
I mean,
but it's illegal to do it for hostages, but that's what they did.
and so a lot of the gains that President Trump made in his first term were reversed under the Biden administration.
Yeah, whether they worked or not, just undo by Trump. That
Yeah,
doesn't
I mean,
exist.
Trump had a much better plan for exiting Afghanistan. We would have kept Bagram Air Force Base there, which is very close to China.
Much
and a
like
great
we
listening
we
post.
keep one in Cuba.
Right, like Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah.
But Biden just seemed incompetent or evil, or maybe both.
But he had the love of all the Democrats. But I think he didn't really have the love. They just saw him as the only means to keep in office because it wasn't about Biden. Because right now, and I didn't think about this the other day. There's been some reports about it. He can't collect money for his library. There's no Democrat giving him money for his library. I say none. He had, where Obama spent $1 billion plus.
Yeah, what's that old saying? Success is 1,000 fathers, failure has none.
None. Well, he hasn't even gotten $100 million yet.
Well, I don't know. Is that a small amount for a library?
Apparently.
Wow.
I mean, that's a bookmobile. Trump has already got $700 million.
Wow.
For his library, and he can't get donors. People lost his number.
Well, I would lose his number too. I mean, that's just not. Biden was never a hot executive. He was a figurehead to get what
he was holding a
party wanted.
position.
Yes, and he was sold under the idea that it was a return to non-Trump normalcy. And this guy's been a senator for a long time.
But it worked for the Democrat Party, and now they're looking at Harris to come back, and they think she can do it the second time.
I say she should give it a good try.
Because she doesn't really have a reputation of anything.
Well, I don't know. I see lots of reputation.
But I mean,
she has a reputation for words.
She hasn't, yes, but she hasn't destroyed California. She hasn't destroyed Illinois.
She was part of an administration that did enormous damage to the United States.
They could put it off on Biden, but they're getting behind her.
Wow. I mean, to me, I think that's wonderful. They should do this. But I don't think it's a.
I mean, if you have Newsom, you've got tons of examples on why you're a bad leader. Same with Pritzker.
Yeah, true.
What do you say about Harris?
You'd say she lost, and she was part of the Biden administration.
Yeah, but I thought it was ridiculous that she was still out there on the campaign trail.
I'm
still doing
trying to
stuff,
think
but apparently not.
of what her campaign would look like. I mean, all I can see is her first campaign over again. I'm not Trump. I'll do wonderful things. I'll give you lots of free stuff.
But that is it. That is it. She's not Trump.
Yeah,
that's their deal, and that kind of ignites them. I don't think it's a winning ticket myself. I don't think so, but that's what they think.
Yeah, well, of course, it's a ways off. It's 3 years. Well, not.
It's way out. Yeah, it's 2 years.
2 years.
A year and a half. You better have it all set.
Right.
You
Which
better be
is
going strong.
happening a lot faster than people realize.
Right. Well, you got the hopefuls like Newsom and Pritzker.
Right.
And of course, John Shapiro's.
And I'm saying
Jewish.
Shapiro may have been one of their better choices, but they're just on DEI terms saying no, we won't do it.
They won't.
And it's DEI is destructive because it's not meritocracy.
It's not. We're out of time. Dean, I appreciate you. Thanks for coming in. I'll be back tomorrow. AM 560 KBO. You have a happy Wednesday.
There's a man in D.C.
Is News Talk 560 KBLU, Yuma. Jack Smith is on a hot seat in the House. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The ex-special counsel who got 2 Trump indictments dropped after the president was elected again.
Mr. Smith, do you have any regrets about the way your prosecutions of the president were handled?
But he didn't answer Fox's Bill Maloosh on his way into a closed-door questioning going on now at the House Judiciary Committee.
Smith was the special counsel who oversaw 2 federal criminal cases against President Trump for alleged mishandling of classified documents and alleged attempts to overturn the 2020 election.
And Fox's Bill Maloosh also reports
the House Judiciary Committee plans